yeah. That's how to give that man a proper yeah right there. Anyways, if you're tuning into this, thank you for the support. If you can hear the sound of my voice, because I have no way of checking, I'm on a backup phone. I got to go get my property back from my captors. I'm going to be doing that shortly. But I'm running stuff from a backup phone. So that's why you haven't seen me up here. And that's why I'm going to be dropping down, just so I can have the banner running on the bottom. And just so I can update anybody who is genuinely interested in my well-being. For those of you who are not generally or genuinely interested in my well-being, sorry that things didn't work out better for you guys today. 5 cases, well, it was actually 3 cases dismissed altogether. Well, not dismissed, but it was 3 cases that were resolved today. The plea deal that I took was basically they waived all the fines. They basically gave me time served in jail for what I was in there for. And yes, I said whatever it would take to get my freedom back today, whatever I need to say to do that. So this, of course, to me, does nothing to prove jurisdiction. This just proves that these folks can use their cages, their guns, and everything else to extort you for more money. So anyways, I'm glad nobody came up. There was a $10,000 bail. Hopefully my voice is going through and you can hear this, but these are just quick updates. But I'm glad that the $10,000 wasn't raised, because they probably would have kept every dime, and then I would have ended up paying the ransom. And just like the last time the ransom was paid, the kidnappers and the abductors tried to do it again, and then they raised the ransom this time. So I'm glad they did not profit from the ransom, and everything is cleared up as far as that goes. Now, I still got something going on August 22nd. That should be fun. For those of you who don't know, August 22nd will be Taylor again, the 6th proceeding on that one. But today, I would say not necessarily a win, not necessarily a loss. I mean, if you consider taking the plea deal a loss, then this fight went the distance, guys. This went all 12 rounds. And then the 12th round, the state won by decision. But it was awfully close because, like I said, the fight ended with me coming out, unscathed, really, and with no fines and time served, which is outstanding, on 3 charges, plus Novi. Oh, I got to tell you guys the story about Novi Court. I'll tell you guys the story on all this stuff, actually, coming soon. But for now, I think I want to take a shower. I want to get in. I want to relax. And yes, it's true. There was a plea deal that was reached. The state ended up winning this bout. In the 12th round, they pulled it out on the judges' scorecards barely. I almost got contempt of court, I think, twice today when I was actually in court. The folks that were in that courtroom, I'll tell you, they got quite a show today. If anybody was in there and saw what happened, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I guess what I'm going to do is get the transcripts from there and see if maybe we can do a dramatic reading of what happened. But I really didn't negotiate with the terrorists. I just basically told them, hey, you got me captive, whatever I need to do to get my freedom today. So that's what we're doing. Well, I don't know what it means by you lost, but, I would consider it a victory. Walking away pretty much unscathed, being able to say what I needed to say. But yeah, so I mean, you're gonna take some dubs. You're gonna get some dubs. You're gonna take some L's. You know what I mean? I'm not undefeated anymore. I am now 2-1 in my bouts. I'm 2-1 now. Let's see, but I got another one coming up down in Taylor. So hopefully we're gonna march that to 3-1. I'm confident I'll be 3-1 in court. Speaking for myself in a court of law. I said no to an attorney today. Got out of there basically with time served and all fines and fees waived. So if that's a W, that's a W. If that's an L, that's an L. They can't all be wins. You know what I'm saying? They can't all be victories. So as far as the loss, though, I'll take the loss. Right? Just being honest. To lose such a close battle with something else. I just wasn't going to sit another week in with my captors to ask the questions that I would have needed to ask to establish that this court didn't have any jurisdiction. They thought they proved jurisdiction to me, but all they ended up doing was I got about 100 new people from from the site of the captivity. I got about, I don't know, 100 more people ready to come out and get behind this movement. And I even got the deputies agreeing with me. Hell, I even had a deputy drive me home. How about that? I had a deputy give me a ride home. So if I got all fees waived, deputy gave me a ride home, sure, took the plea deal. So, there were some rounds we won, some rounds we lost. We may have lost the fight, but we're going to be ready to fight another fight. So can you guys hear this? If you can, give me a 1 in the chat. Looks like 11 people are in here. Like I said, this is a backup phone. I probably only intend to leave the live stream open for folks that want, like genuine updates on what happened. But I'll leave this open for a little while. Give me a 1 if anybody can hear me, though. If I don't see any ones, then I'm going to guess that maybe it's time for me to drop down and we will just leave the banners up. Oh, we got a 1, 2 and 1. There were 5 cases today. No, incorrect, Alex. There were not 5 cases today. There were 4. 3 out of White Lake, Michigan, 1 out of Novi. There's 1 still active case down in Taylor. So that's 5 total, but not 5 cases today, I don't believe. Unless they put all the case numbers for the, here, let me check the paperwork. I still got to go retrieve my property, get my regular phone back so I can do the regular live streams that you guys have come to know and love. So let's see. I'll get the answer for you on 5 charges. Well, I'm only showing, let's see, 3 of the charges here on my paperwork. That's all I see is 3 charges on my paperwork. Some of them were dropped altogether. But basically, sentence was 6 days in jail, credit 6 days served, so I'm out. There's also a note here, suspend fines and costs on civil infractions. So all the fines and costs have been suspended or waived. So I have nothing. You'll be back in jail eventually, right? That's true. I will be back. You're telling the truth here, Jim Tanker. Even though I sense that's a troll comment. Hello, Sarah. How are you? I don't know if this is my cousin Sarah or not. But hello, Sarah. The judge found you guilty, didn't he? Well, it wasn't a he. The judge wasn't a he, but nice of you to really show, basically how misogynist that comment was. Because how dare you think that not including 52-1, Alex 09 says. Alex 09, you're hearing it from me here, okay? As far as I know, 3 charges. Any of the other ones got dropped, so it may have been 5 total with 3 that stuck. There was a no contest plea because I stated on the record that, well, first I said, hey, just let the record show I'm in handcuffs right now because I didn't want anybody thinking I should have voluntarily, right? Which they're going to show they picked me up on my warrants anyway, so I probably didn't need to say that on the record. But anyways, after saying that on the record, I basically said, my goal here is to leave with my freedom today. What do we have to do to leave with my freedom today? If I was going to make an argument, they were going to wait another week and hold me in captivity unless that $12,000 bond could be posted, which, by the way, $12,000, are you kidding me? $12,000 bond. Not dropped, listed as supplemental sentencing, they count. Okay, call it whatever you want. Not the fam, but a cousin anyways. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I'll have to go back and I'll have to check. I've got paperwork I'm holding in my hand, and all of the documents I have here in my hand say pretty much the same thing. Sentence: 6 days in jail, credit 6 days served. And then it says all fines and costs are waived. So I can now go get a license if I choose to contract voluntarily with the state, or if I choose to want to get a job in the driving industry, right? No, pilot, there is no 10%. Please don't drive. Well, I won't be driving in a commercial capacity. How about that? But I may be, I don't know the best way to put it, exercising my right to, freely move property from point A to point B. I may do that in a personal capacity. I don't know. But I do like jobs as a driver, so I'm probably just going to go get my license so I have it for commercial purposes and commercial reasons. Then I'm going to be much more useful to the folks at my work too. So this is going to be nothing but good things right here. And no, I did not take an attorney. There was no attorney. They tried to assign an attorney to me. Travel, John Denicola says, yeah, right? My right to travel. But yeah, I mean, it's just your opportunity. It's, the exercising or what you're supposed to have the right to be free in this country, but we all know that's not a right. It's a privilege, and it's a privilege that can be taken from you. It can be taken from you with bars, and jail cells, and men with guns, and attorneys that are contracted to profit off of the revenue collection of the state or the municipality that they're representing. And then you have, all the other systems that are set up to profit off of this. You're talking the phone system at the jail. You're talking the commissary. You're talking, let's see, the Oakland County buildings, the drug testing facilities, the forensic contractors that they have, all kinds of things that you wouldn't even think of, right? Like the food contractor in there, Aramark, and let's see, so many other, the bail bondsmen that are associated with this, right? So it's definitely a hustle. You'll get arrested every time. Please join us in the American dream. Hey, you know what? Richard Fulmer, I did tell him I'd be back. I did tell them I would be back. So have you ever read Hendrick versus Maryland? I don't know. That sounds like case law to me. And I don't really need to study any case law to understand that free people cannot be regulated, licensed, basically restricted. What else do you want to call it? Free people aren't supposed to be restricted or, require licensing and everything else you can think of, that comes with registered, for crying out loud, people. It's about being free. It's not about the case law, and it's not about the nuances of law. It's literally about, are we free people or are we not? Right? Well, I told you this. Well, we got some trolls coming in. Please don't boot the trolls for now, because we've got Tones. Hello, Tones. I know you hate the sound of my voice. Hey, Tones, did you see the live stream from inside the jail, though? The first question people ask me when I tell them I live stream from in the jail, the first question almost everybody asked me was, well, how did you manage to live stream from in the jail? But I did. Did they put a GPS on you? No. Why would they put a GPS on me? I'm a non-violent, victimless crime offender. They don't even have jurisdiction, if you ask me. I wasn't, let's see, do you have the same opposition to pilot's license as you do to driver's license? Listen, Mr. Carroll, it's no victim, no crime, Mr. Carroll. It's that simple, right? It's no victim, no crime. But let me get back to Tone's comment real quick. 3 no contest, please, Josh. Didn't think you had it in you. Strange how the extortionists waived your fines for 2 of the charges, was it? Well, they got a little bit of money. I mean, they got $1,000 when Troll Mafia gave it to them, so they extorted a little bit of money. And then they just got tired of footing the bill for me because they know I wasn't going to pay them any additional money, I think. You know, I'm really happy that nobody came up with the $10,000 ransom. I'll tell you that. It went from 3,000 to 10,000. That should tell you everything you need to know. There you go, Frog. You updated it. You sounded awfully dejected, Fraud. You sound Frog. I called you Fraud, but that's kind of fitting. That's kind of a fitting Freudian slip on my part. But anyways, hold on. Let me finish my thought on Tone's comment. Tone's, I'm 2-1 in court since speaking for myself in a court of law, and I would say today's outcome after 3 years. Going to like the 12th round in a heavyweight bout, and then losing by judges' scorecards is the way I see this fight went down. I'm gonna take some L's, Tones. You're not dejected. Never negotiate with terrorists, right? I just told him, hey, the only thing I'm expecting is to walk out of here a free man today, and I did. I walked out of there a free man. I said what I had to do to become a free man. I let him know that, you know, this was not done under anything less than threats, coercion, duress. You know, they send you to jail. You know, they send you to a cage. They send you to a steel cage with people fighting and food that's not fit for humans, and no medical treatment, and deputies that have a cynical, sinister look on their face. Well, I'm not going to say that. I met quite a few sheriff's deputies that were awesome. And I'll get to them. One of them even gave me a ride today. So anyways, taking a plea bargain is literally negotiating with the government. Well, I had my freedom as the token for my, you know, for the outcome I wanted. I got the outcome I wanted. And basically, I let them know that the only reason I was pleading in the first place was due to threats, coercion, and duress. You know, typically after you do a plea deal, the judge is supposed to say, now, did anybody offer you or threaten you in any way? I would have loved to have that question come up, because for about the 4th time, you would have seen that judge get real close to giving me a contempt charge. But you should have seen it today. The whole courtroom was just amazed. Like their mouths were open as they saw what they witnessed. I'm going to do my best to try to get a hold of the transcripts. Any money that was donated through Wolvie or anybody else that may have been trying to help bail me out when the ransom was only $3, that money will go to getting FOIA information, so I can tell you a more complete story and you can see for yourself what actually happened. Right now, all we have to go by is my perception of things and my human recollection, which, you know, in a court of law or when it comes to telling a story, that's one of the least credible sources of information. So I don't want to tell you guys too many details. You spent 3 years fighting, week-long jail sentences. Nelson Mandela would be so proud. Also, you technically can't claim a victory unless you were acquitted. So I'm afraid they don't count a win. Yeah, I told you. I mean, like, I won some rounds. I won some of the rounds, but I lost the fight in general. Yeah, Tones. I'm going to take some L's, Tones. This isn't about, you know, being flawless and perfect in your victories. Unlike you guys, I know I am a flawed individual. I know I make mistakes. But I do know one thing about myself. I am oppositional defiant. I am stubborn as hell. And if I didn't have things to do this week, like take my son back to school shopping, I probably would have been happy just to spend the week in there just so I could have had all those cops on the stand to ask them if a private civilian has any obligation to follow the written instrument called traffic code, because none of the deputies I asked that question to were able to answer that question. Not a single deputy could answer that question. Oh, and by the way, of all the deputies I encountered this week, which were a lot, anybody want to take a guess as to how many could tell me what the First Amendment said? Anybody? Yeah, no probation, Frog. That is correct. And Frog came out with the video right away. So I might have to steal your video there, Frog, and add a little bit of my own stuff to it so we can tell a more accurate story. But like I said, any of the money that was donated to me will go to good use. It will go to getting FOIA information. And then Hell, I mean, I think I may be the first cop watcher in all of cop watch history um, to fire up a live stream from inside his the captor's cage. Shall we call it the captor's cage? I think I am the first one. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard other folks have live streamed from a jail before. I was kind of sorely mistaken when I said that, but I had been corrected that some people have live streamed from a jail before. But I do think I'm the first cop watcher that has ever live streamed from a jail. But feel free to correct me, as I could be wrong on a lot of things, right? But the good news is tomorrow or the next day when I get my phone back and my property back, I get to take my son back to school shopping. I get to complete some of the projects I had deposits for. Frog is a spy. Yeah, Frog is a spy. Frog likes to. Frog is a subtle doxer, right? So what? So you are obstinate, defiant? No, That's not what I said. I didn't say I'm obstinate, defiant. Okay. What I said is I'm oppositional defiant. Right? So are you trying to correct me on grammar here? Weapons 175, like the grammar really counts here. Oppositional defiant, or what you would like to say, obstinate defiant. It kind of sounds like you're abstinent, like you're not getting laid or something like that. Yeah. I'm not on probation there, Jim Tanker. Sorry to burst your bubble. Rochelle, hello. Hello, my beautiful, beautiful YouTube wife who is concerned about me, genuinely concerned about me. Thank you for that. Yes, you're a subtle doxer, Frog UK. You use public records to initiate the process of finding out who somebody is on YouTube so that other folks can do the rest of the legwork and find out where they live so they can put their information online. And then they want to put the information online because from what I've seen on your side, I'm not speaking for all of the creators, but most of the creators from your side, basically you like doxing people to see bad things happen to them, just like the state, right? When is the Taylor case? Well, look for phones in jail, considered contraband, no. Oh, well, I'll tell you that story real quick. I guess I'll tell you that story since I wasn't going to stay up here long, guys, because I am tired. I want to get some sleep. But I'll tell you that story real quick because that's kind of funny. Phones in jail considered contraband. Now, it was Wade Swalwell who arrested me, right? Wade Swalwell, who took the time out of his day when he said he was on his way to check for speeders and run the radar to catch speeders. So let me just say to that point is apparently I saved maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 more people from getting legally extorted that day. So I will count that as a victory. My abduction is what saved at least one person from getting extorted and being rung through the due processor that I've been rung through. So I consider that a victory. Did you put in your prison wallet? Hey, what happens in jail stays in jail. Got it? Whatever happens in jail stays in jail. More and more frauditors. Let's see. Look at this. Hold on. I want to read this one comment real quick. And then I'll come back and finish what I was talking about with Wade Swalwell. He's the guy who arrested me, right? But more and more frauditors are going to jail. Awesome. See, that's the problem with you, Dale. You celebrate when bad things happen to your fellow man, right? Your fellow man and woman, you're celebrating when bad things happen to him. I've seen you guys do it to Paul from Paul Enslaved, right? If he got his car towed that one time, and you guys were like, see, it doesn't always work, and it's kind of funny that happened to him. You're celebrating watching something negative happen to your fellow man. So anyways, back to the story about Wade Swalwell and back to the story about is that contraband in jail? Because I wanted to get back to the contraband in jail. Here, let me put that comment up just so we stay on topic here. Hopefully you signed out from whatever phone you had inside. Well, it is on a live stream. It was on a live stream, so it basically recorded everything that happened, at least on my end. Glad this will be behind you. Thank you, Rochelle. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's one good thing is that this will be behind me. So, we'll just take it from there. They didn't show me factual evidence of jurisdiction. A jail cell just shows that the state can use whatever they need as far as force to get you to do whatever they want you to do. So I'm not going to use your language here, Mr. Carroll. Okay, here's the comment. Allie B from Tennessee. Hi, Allie B from Tennessee. Phones in jail is considered contraband, no? Funny story about Wade Swalwell, the guy who arrested me. He when he found out I had my jail, he goes, "Oh, I'm going to confiscate that. That's going to be another charge." So my abductors. Oh, and then he was so kind to give me a blanket when we first got there, and then he took my little blankie away. He took my blankie away, and he took my phone away, and then he marked down that I actually had a phone. Stuck the little property receipt back through the bars, gave it back to me. Didn't give me back the blanket because he wanted me to pay for his mistake, which is he never checked me for the phone. That's one story I will reveal here, which, by the way, I don't know how that's not national news because, I mean, I'm a peaceful guy, but for all intents and purposes, that could have been a fugitive with a handgun that, got a handgun into the jail. And then, that would have been really dangerous, wouldn't it have, Wade Swalwell? I mean, you could have let somebody in with a weapon. You don't like the laws of this country, get the hell out. Well, Dale, if you like tyranny so much, you go move to North Korea. I'll stay here in this country and work to get our freedoms back. How about that, Dale? Dale, do you hear me? If you don't like the laws of this country, get the hell out. I like the laws of this country. I actually like when the laws of this country are followed by the folks that are supposed to follow them, which are public servants. Thanks for that, Tones. I didn't need that. I didn't need you to come in here reciting, the Michigan State Legislature. Is that what they're going to give me for factual evidence of jurisdiction if I was in court? If this went to, I might just go get another driving with expired license just so I can go back to court, just so we can do the jury trial. And just so I can ask them if there's any proof that a private civilian has any obligation to follow the written instrument called traffic code. And we'll see how the little piggies answer that question when they're on the stand. I wanted to ask them that today, but we were stuck at another fucking pre-trial. So this would have been the 12th proceeding. Hey, Tones, let me ask you this question real quick. Since you're quoting laws and stuff here, let's quote the Constitution. Okay, am I supposed to have the right to a fair and meaningful trial or fair and meaningful court proceeding? Do I have the right to fair and meaningful hearings? Let's answer that, right? I believe the answer is yes. We'll just move ahead with the answer yes, right? I do have the right to fair and meaningful hearings. Would you consider it meaningful, meaning we get to make progress, right? Would you consider it meaningful to be back the 12th time for the same thing in cuffs and having your freedom taken away from you while you're a presumed innocent man? Does that seem anywhere logical to you, Tom? Use your big thinking, overthinks it brain and think about that for a second. Does it seem logical to you that a man who is presumed innocent can have his freedom stripped away when he's supposed to have fair and meaningful hearings and he's now back for the 12th time for the same shit? Why you will lose? Because you don't know what the hell you're doing. None of us know what the hell we're doing. Not even Paul Carroll knows what the hell he's doing. He practices law, right, Mr. Carroll? If you're still in here, Mr. Carroll, give me, do you practice law or are you an expert on the law, Mr. Carroll? And don't say both. Don't say both. Our traffic code statutes, not laws of the state of Michigan. Mr. Carroll, I'm asking the question. The question is, it doesn't matter if the traffic codes are, let's just say for the sake of argument that they are. Let's just say for the sake of argument that they are. And all the statutes apply, right, as just the same generic law, okay? Or under the general umbrella word of, law. Let's just assume that they do, right? Okay, Mr. Carroll? Where is the factual evidence that a private civilian has any obligation to follow those written instruments, Mr. Carroll? Mr. Carroll, if you'd like to answer that question. Well, no, Richard Fulmer, and it's actually 6 people because you get a jury of 6 people. But Richard Fulmer's question, so you think 12 people with valid driver's license will find you not guilty. No, that's why I pled no contest, because I'm in a state court. They're going to pull from, in the state of Michigan, they pull from your voter registration. So it's already statist people that are indoctrinated, that are going to align with the state. It's no contest. I'm in a state court with state jurors. If they wanted to give me a jury of my peers, they would find people like, like cop watchers. Put 12 cop watchers in the jury, or put 1 cop watcher in a jury of 6 and see if they find me guilty. But anyway, so I knew I wouldn't get a fair trial, right? I'm in a state court with state actors, all state actors, and a jury pool that will be not of my peers, but a jury of registered voters who, if you're a registered voter, you're basically conceding to the fact that you're a voter, you vote, you are a statist. And so no, I wouldn't get a fair trial. That's not true, Tones. That's not true. If you delay them, then you keep them coming back. I didn't delay them down in Novi. They dismissed that nolle prosequi, right? Or nolle prosequi. Sorry, my legalese isn't up to par. If we had Juan Galt in here, Mr. Carroll, then maybe they could correct me on my proper legalese. But Tones, your comment is, yes, you're innocent until proven guilty, and you have the right to due process. In order to indulge in that right, participation in that process is required. If you delay them, then you keep coming back. Well, I didn't keep coming back. So, I mean, I was innocent until proven guilty, right? And then they said, well, the fact that you're here is that proves jurisdiction. Isn't that what some folks said, Tones? So the fact that I was going is what gave them jurisdiction. So I thought by not going, I wouldn't surrender jurisdiction. Do you see how easily we can shoot down some of these answers as incorrect? Now, I don't have the correct answers. But anyways, back to Wade Swalwell and what he did. I'm going to try to get the FOIA information of the car ride in the gang lair mobile, the little gang mobile. I was in the back seat, and me and Wade Swalwell had a couple cheeky little chats. So hopefully I'll have the FOIA request from that. But Wade Swalwell did admit, I got him to admit on the record with a recording that basically it was his mistake that I had my phone in the jail. And that was his mistake, not mine. He was going to get written up for it. I mean, how that doesn't make national news, I don't know. What I should have done is kept the live stream going, and right when he came to the cell, just held the phone up and just captured the utter just look of baffled. I guess the baffled look on Wade Swalwell's face, it was just absolutely priceless. I wish I had a recording of that. So the FOIA probably won't show that. But if you could have seen just how absolutely embarrassed he looked when he came to the cell. Well, first he said, oh, we got to move your cells, right? And I was like, fuck you, you're not taking my phone. So I put it under the blanket. He grabs the blanket and goes, oh, just like I thought. Just like I thought. And then he goes to move the phone and he says, oh, well, that'll be another charge. I'm going to confiscate this as evidence. What are you going to confiscate it as evidence for, Wade Swalwell, of your own mistake? I'm gonna confiscate this for evidence showing that I could have let anybody in here with any kind of, thing in their pocket, a weapon. Shit, he's lucky that, the only weapon I carry is a phone. That's the only weapon that I carry. And I got extra, magazine clips of battery packs so I can film all day and lay down suppressive fire in 1080p, right? I mean, if you use the phone as a shield, I guess that is a shield considered a weapon? I wouldn't consider a shield a weapon. I use the phone more as a shield as I do a weapon. But now I'm starting to use it as a weapon so we can start calling out the criminals that are committing treasonous acts within our state government. I didn't say that OJ should have only had a jury of rich football players. But I'll tell you, he committed a real crime with a real victim, and it sounds like you're trying to conflate the two, Mr. Carroll. You're trying to say that OJ, who was accused of murder with a victim with corpus delicti, with plenty of body of evidence to show why that guy needs to submit to the jurisdiction of that court, right? So you're talking apples and oranges right there. Thank you, the Jim Tanker. You need to get rid of that meth lisp. Thank you for that, Jim Tanker. What's going on, Artie? We got Artie in here. Artie, what are you doing wandering over to this channel? Didn't you ban me on your channel? You banned me on your channel because I called you out for e-begging for your cat, man. Like, for crying out loud, dude. You banned me from your channel because I saw you e-begging and doing the things that you say you hate seeing other people do. More Sav Sit. Well, see, this is the thing, Weapons 175. The Sav Sit label, we've already discussed numerous times on this channel with Juan Gall, with Paul Carroll. Paul Carroll's even come up here to discuss the Sav Sit label. And here's the thing, when you guys mislabel somebody a Sav Sit, because think about it, you've got a lot of folks that are anarchists that sound like Sav Sits because they'll stick with the whole no victim, no crime thing. That's really, from what I've seen from an ideological standpoint, that's more of anarchist or voluntarist type ideology, not Sav Sit ideology. But I mean, Sav Sit ideology is the same. But see, you guys take the anarchist ideology and you label everybody a Sav Sit, and it's a really lazy grouping. I mean, it doesn't bother me. It just, to me, it shows off the lack of intelligence and the lack of nuance that you guys fail to comprehend in ideologies, right? No, I'm not a sovereign citizen. The sovereign citizens wear, robes, and they have badges. They usually have uniforms on. They usually come with the, the outlandish and unhinged capability of violence from the state, right? See, Weapons 175, it's kind of dumb when somebody tells you, no, that's not correct, and you don't understand the ideology. I'll bet you I understand the anarchist ideology way better than you, and I'll bet you understand, like, the Sav Sit ideology better than me. But I would take Juan Galt's word for it, because Juan Galt was, according to him, a founding member of the Sav Sit, and he was even on here correcting himself. Or are you an anarchist? See, that's a good question, Weapons 175. Now we can start having conversations. We can start having conversations when you start coming with real questions, like, or are you an anarchist? No, I'm not an anarchist. There was a live stream where people basically diagnosed where my ideology, how do I say this? Where I am with my ideology, right? Where I would rank on the scale of ideologies. And people from Press Harder channel, he hit the nail right on the head. He basically repeated back to me. He actually listened to me, and he actually repeated back to me pretty much exactly where I stand on my ideology. It was almost too accurate, as a matter of fact. He listened so well to me that he pinpointed. So anyways, there's a live stream. You can go, sift through it and find it, where I was just talking to people one night after a long night of live streaming, and I think it was like towards the end of it, but he basically summed up in a few paragraphs, I guess, where my ideology lies, and he was 100% on point. You're just someone who doesn't want a DL to drive if I left for it. Not true. That's not true. I mean, I want in a free America for free Americans to be free. And if you've got to be licensed, regulated, restricted, governed, whatever, you're not really free. And I just want, individuals in this country to be free. And I know that, if you're operating in your private capacity, you should be able to feel secure in your person's papers, houses, and effects. I'm blushing. Well, I mean, if everybody had the listening capabilities that people had, this world would be a lot brighter of a place. And I thought about you often this week in jail, and I was thinking to myself, I could never fucking do what you did down in Alabama. So we have to have a live stream about that, and maybe tell your war story from jail down in Alabama, and maybe my story from jail up here. And sorry if I said Alabama, my bad. I shouldn't say where you were held captive at. Damn it. See, this is me not thinking, not sleeping well for a week because I was on concrete, right? People is amazing. Isn't that right, Rochelle? See, we got love in this chat. We got love on this channel. I really got no hate for anybody, even the folks that hate on me. I kind of understand the psychology behind it, and I mean, there's a lot of me that's in them, that's incorporated in them. So I see where they get like their trollish ways, and actually they stick up for each other quite a bit. They do what friends are supposed to do for each other, and that I can at least admire. But I can't get so lost on the other things that they do stand for that I can't let it slide that they just have a few good qualities to them. But I see a lot of myself in them. Let me talk to you. Are you talking to me, Weapons? Let me talk to you. Oh my goodness. I'm probably going to regret this because I don't want to really live stream. I do want to get some rest, and I do want to get some food, and I do want to recover from there were 4 fights in the holding tanks, which is where I was. So that's another great thing about being in jail. You're subjected to a lot of violence. You're subjected to um, a lot of situations that could turn out to be, borderline torturous, inhumane. So my thoughts this weekend were, I had to take my son back to school shopping. You know what I mean? I got to Oh, there I am. Am I back on? I see that the microphone has picked up again. Guys, give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. I was just about to scroll out. And then I think we got weapons in the basement. I'll check and see if he's still here. Hold on, guys. Like I said, I'm running this from a backup phone, so it's not necessarily the best quality. I could go get my property real quick from the White Lake PD. Let's see if we can add weapons to the stream, and let's see if we got sound. Weapons should be in the show. I think I'm just lagging. So hang on. I'll check and see if we have audio and if weapons is up. Oh, here we go. Now I'm starting to catch up, I think. We'll see. I think I'm lagging, guys. Hold on.
How about now? How's the audio now?
Well, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I hear you. Do you hear me now?
I hear you, but I don't know how this is coming through.
It's this thing. It keeps hijacking my computer. All right, look. You want to say you're not a soft sit. I get that. However, you keep saying the same things they do. Whether it's a real term or a colloquial term or a term that just we as random people kind of just accept, you have to understand that the way you're speaking, you're talking in ideology that we associate with those guys. You say terms like ransom and torture as opposed to being arrested, and things like a bail. Okay, in society we have certain standards and we have certain terms, and you're kind of breaking some of those by doing things like that. Now, it's your prerogative if you want to do it, and it's your First Amendment right to do things like that. However, what comes with those rights are those consequences. You cannot just throw that out there and expect to not end up being criticized in some ways. Okay. Now, with that criticism comes other people's First Amendment rights as well. And they have the right to say what they're going to say, and you have the right to defend yourself, obviously. When you tell people that that you have the right to quote unquote travel, you do. You can travel. However, can you operate a very powerful, heavy, and dangerous piece of equipment without some kind of certification? No. So I wasn't, as you can tell by all the crap around me here, I was in the military. And in the military, we have all kinds of crazy devices that we use for various things. My particular job was putting all of the, sorry, my camera's all wonky, putting all of the weapons on that thing. Well, we needed some pretty complex equipment to do that. And that equipment required training and licensing. You literally got like a little like card thing that you would have to put in and have to carry with you to use those devices. So if I'm going to allow you, like I'm the government and you're you, and I'm going to allow you to drive around in a 4,000 pound or more vehicle on the roadways amongst all of my other voters, citizens, constituents, and not at least ensure you have some idea about what's going to happen on that roadway. You can't do that. You can't just let people operate equipment that dangerous without having some, like just a little bit of, because obviously, I'm telling you from personal experience, that driver's test is not a driver's test. It's nowhere near the level of qualification you have to operate military equipment. All right. So, and a car is actually far more dangerous than some of the equipment that I've gone through many more hoops to operate in the military. I've seen people maybe have a broken toe from misuse of a piece of military equipment, but a car can end the lives of dozens of people. And you think for 1 second that that's covered under the right of travel? No.
Okay, so I might be back. Am I back, by the way? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You're
okay. Were you talking that whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because the last thing I heard you say, you were talking about how some of the things I say and some of the words and terms I use are similar or are used in Sovsit ideology.
Yes.
And so I use the words like I was abducted, kidnapped, I was held for ransom. I use those words on purpose to describe it for what it is. It's criminal behavior. And if it's done on behalf of a state agent, it doesn't change what the actual act that which they are committing, right? So
it's literally not legally.
According the way you see it.
So you're talking like colloquially, like in the minds of the common person, but it's not. It really isn't. I know.
Well, how do we break through, and how do we get? I guess where I'm going with this weapons is, you know, I'm sure Nazis had a fancy word for taking, you know, a certain portion of their population to the extermination gas chambers. I'm sure they didn't call it exterminating, right? I'm sure they had a nice term for it in statist terms when they were doing it.
They called it the final solution. But this
okay,
is not the same thing. Do not equate the justice system with the final solution. You're looking at two completely different things. Even look, full disclosure, you're dealing with a person with a history degree. I've taught history. I understand how these things work. Even if you go way back to ancient times, there is a certain level of societal responsibility placed upon every single individual.
I would agree, but let me cut you off for just 1 second because we have two more guests in the basement, and I don't know how long my phone is going to let me go without glitching out like it has. So I'm going to bring two other guests up. If you could finish your point real quick, we'll bring the two other guests up, and I might drop down just so I can kind of pilot this from down, you know, from the.
My point is that there is no equivalency between being arrested and detained by law enforcement and placed in the judicial system to what you're trying to equate it to the Holocaust, and that is offensive, wrong.
Well, I'm saying it's a slippery slope, and if you paid attention to what Mr. Carroll and I discussed on one of our live streams, we talked about the slippery slope that it takes to get to that level of what the Nazis did and the atrocities. I'm not trying to compare, like, I didn't go through what Anne Frank went through. Okay. I'm not trying to compare myself. I didn't go through, nobody crucified me in that jail cell. I'm not Jesus Christ. I didn't get crucified. I'm not Anne Frank. I didn't get, murdered for trying to stay safe.
To a system. What was your charge?
What was my charge?
Yes.
It was a $10,000 bond for driving on an expired license. And then there was one that was driving on a suspended license, which I was able to explain in the court why it shouldn't be suspended, which is part of the reason they dismissed them.
What charges put you in jail?
Failure to appear on the driving while license expired. And then I caught a failure to appear on the driving while license suspended. But I brought up the frog, and I'm bringing up people. I appreciate you guys being patient and waiting it out. I have had technical difficulties, so I'm actually going to drop down a little bit. You can ask me questions, and I'll answer in the chat. And I'll let you guys have a discussion, but I'm just going to steer this discussion from the live chat.
Oh, no, you're not going to bail out.
Does that make sense?
No, you're not going to bail out.
I think you need to stay.
You let up a Brit in a
What's that?
military. You let a Brit up here in a military officer who's a history professor.
I know. Listen.
Run away.
Don't call me an officer. I work for a living. I'm an NCO.
Don't call him an officer. He's triggered by all kinds of things. When you call kidnapping, he's triggered as hell. I got your point, BSBT, when you brought up the final solution, right? Because that was another word game, right? They called it the final solution, just like police call it a patrol rifle. They don't call it an assault rifle. They don't call it murder. They call it eliminating the subject, a threat. Just like in the military, it's an enemy combatant. It's not a human being anymore, right? All these word games that history professors play to explain away the past and justify the future, it's just it's tyranny. It's democratic tyranny, or it's authoritative tyranny. It's tyranny no matter what.
Josh, can we just get some facts right, Josh?
Can we discuss some facts, right?
Well, hold on. We can't transition like that from what people just said into, talking about some facts. Here's the strange thing about facts. By the way, people, your mic sounded really low on my end. I don't know if you can adjust and turn your mic up. I tried doing it on my end. But Frog, the problem with facts, Frog, is that, and tell me if you agree or not. The problem with facts is that which facts are you going to choose from? There's tons of facts out there. Which facts?
Well, no, let's just deal with the facts of you pled nolo contendere on 3 charges today. All 3 charges for driving with either license expired or license suspended. And you got 6 days in jail for each of those charges, which run concurrently, and they let you out with 4 days time served. Those are facts. You also had 2 other what you call civil cases where the fines were waived. So you dealt with 5 cases today. Do you disagree? Hello?
I think his phone probably blanked out, but speaking of that, you remember when that little island country decided to light the White House on fire and we kicked your Brit asses out here?
Were you there?
Were you?
Were you?
I'm just saying, do you remember the facts?
Were you?
And I'm wondering why you're getting in between the people and their government over here in this country.
Were you there?
Why are you getting in between the people and the government?
I like your approach, Frog.
It doesn't matter. It's in the collective memory.
His forebears were probably fighting in red.
And you're still
His
trying to
forebears were probably fighting in red, and he
you're
doesn't
still
actually
trying to
appreciate
interfere,
it.
man.
So basically,
We kicked your tyrant asses out of here, your monarchy, and you
What
want
are you
to promote-
talking about, tyrant? Am I a monarchist? Do you know fuck all about me? You don't, do you?
Yeah, you're living under a king, man.
I'm not living under a king. You know
You're a
fuck all about
subject.
our constitution, do you?
You're a subject.
British Revolution.
You're a subject of the king, man.
I'm no subject. I have never pled an oath to anyone, unlike you.
I've never pledged an oath.
You pledged an oath to your country.
No, I
You
didn't.
saying you've never done it? You've never done it?
I've never taken an oath to the country, no.
You never did it in school?
Are you talking about saying the Pledge of Allegiance? That's not an oath.
Yes.
It's actually not technically an oath.
That's not an oath.
Okay, right. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance, whatever. You pledge allegiance to a country, to a state.
Well, I used to say that, but I mean it's not an oath, but it
I'm
was
a free
pledge-
man. I've never pledged anything like
and
that
I
to
talk
anyone.
about that a lot. People don't pledge allegiance, but citizens do. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're above the government, then you're not allegiant to them. People are above the government, but you don't have to be above the government. You can be a citizen too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh my God! More quantum grammar nonsense. Stop it.
Quantum grammar?
Yeah, that's what you're doing right now. I'm above the government, and I understand, and you get all pissed off, and people say, "All right, do you understand?" No, I overstand, and all that kind of stuff. Stop that stuff. You guys are.
No, you're putting words in my mouth.
Okay,
I didn't say any of that. I'm just saying that we the people are on top. Okay, the people have the power, the people have the rights, and they're on top, right? And they created the government, and the government created citizens. And there's two paths that you can be on. You can be on the righteous path, or you can be on the low ground. The choice is up to you, and the Constitution lays it out in beautifully worded ways, But the people have the rights, and they don't pledge allegiance to their government, right? It's their government. The government is of the people, for the people, and by the people.
But do you actually understand what all of that means?
Do you understand what all that means? Do you understand the sentence, the right of the people to be secure in their person, means that the people are in it, in their person, and it's their person, THEIR, that people in person cannot be interchanged in that sentence. You cannot say the right of the persons to be secure in their people, houses and papers and effects, right? You understand that word there means persons, houses, papers, and effects are property. They can be bought and sold. Do you understand that?
It's impossible, isn't it?
I mean,
It
do we
really
have to
is
go back
impossible.
to English third grade or what? Does THEIR mean ownership or not?
You do realise that your constitution means exactly what your Supreme Court determined it means. You do realise that, don't you?
The
That they can determine it means
document.
A today, and they can determine that it means B tomorrow. And they're both right, because that's your constitution.
Yes.
Your Supreme Court determined.
They can determine what privileges are, but they can't determine what rights are. You see,
Your Supreme Court determined what those words mean. Not you.
No. The Supreme Court determines what they mean to them, right? And if you care what the Supreme Court says, then you should listen to them.
You're totally messed up of where your constitution is. Why do you think Roe v. Wade happened? Why do you think one day it was this and one day it was that?
But those are privileges, not rights. Like I said, the Supreme Court cannot determine what rights are for the people. They're self-evident, right? People have rights, and those aren't things. You can't touch speech. You can't. Nobody's ever walked up to you and said, "Give me your motherfucking free speech now, bitch." Right? Because you can't hand it over. Nobody's ever stolen your religion. Nobody's ever taken your assembly. They can't take it, right? Because they're inside, right? what's on the inside is what matters, not what's on the outside. What's on the outside is only privileges, and that's all they can take. And when you're talking about the Constitution, it's not all about rights. Only the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment are about rights. There's 27 amendments, and 24 of them are about privileges, not rights. So when you say the Supreme Court can determine what those words mean, yeah, if they require expansion or whatever, but they can't redefine how they've already been defined in the Constitution. And they can't go and change the fact that the Fourth Amendment defined people and persons as being different, that persons are property. They are theirs.
No.
H-E-I-R.
Beard guy, stop, please. Just for a second, please. Can I get the words in here, please?
Second set.
What I'm trying to say, and I think what Mr. I don't know your actual handle, I don't see it.
Frog.
Okay, Frog. What we're trying to explain to you is that the way the law in the United States of America works is that we have a constitution. We also have 3 branches of government. And the judiciary, that third and equally powerful branch of government, has the ability to interpret both the Constitution and laws, and they have the power of the judiciary, as granted by the Constitution, to help provide a semi-consistent flow of law in the United States, which means, so for instance, to benefit like the whole like 1A auditor, I won't use.
They're supposed to establish justice. Why don't you use the words that are in the Constitution?
Also, no.
Why don't you use the words that are in the Constitution? We the people, in order to establish justice.
When you're done screaming, let me know.
Well, why don't you use the words that are in the Constitution?
The Supreme Court is not about justice.
The Constitution says that the people created the government in order to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense.
Read the preamble.
That's the preamble that I'm reading you.
It's not about, the government is not there for justice. The government,
to establish justice. Do you know what establish means? It means to define, to write it out. Have they written out what justice is? Do you know what justice is?
Yes.
Is there a definition of justice that the government can provide you now? Did they establish what it is?
The government enables, enacts, and conducts justice. They do not establish it. You can't establish justice.
Obviously. No shit, but that's what the Constitution says.
Because there's a lot of not justice going on around the world. You can't establish it. You can only work towards it. But my point is this. One,
establish means to write it. It doesn't mean to make it happen. It means to write it, to define it. What is it? Like Socrates always wanted to know, what is the nature of justice?
Stop deflecting.
I'm not deflecting. Use the words that are in the goddamn Constitution.
I'm going back to SCOTUS. SCOTUS is not there for justice. SCOTUS.
So you admit it.
I don't know what you want me to admit.
You are admitting it. You're saying that it's not about justice. They were ordered to establish justice, and they haven't. We the people, in order. In order. That's an order, a direct order from the people to establish justice. And they haven't done it. They haven't done it, and you admit it. You admit it.
Also, no.
You did admit it. You said no one can establish justice. No one.
I said that if the concept, the conceptual ideology of the concept of justice cannot be fully achieved because everyone, if you include a large enough set of people, someone will feel injustice no matter what. So you can't honestly codify that. You can't make it a thing that happens to everyone.
So they failed.
What I'm saying
so they failed. They're failures. The government has not done the one thing that they were supposed to do: establish justice. They
And I
failed.
just said that that's impossible. What I'm trying to
So
tell
they
you,
failed.
SCOTUS is not there for justice. SCOTUS is there for interpretation of the Constitution and to protect the government and to help steer the government along so it doesn't deviate from the Constitution. You're trying to
You
say,
could, sorry, I was going to say you could probably write, 1,000 per word essays on what is justice. What does justice mean? It's not just one
That's
word.
right.
It's not one word that has this 5-word definition.
That's right. Now we're getting at the root of the matter, right? And that's what BS is trying to get at, is the root of the matter,
he's
right?
talking about
Like,
concepts.
what is jurisdiction?
No,
You see, he's trying
So-
to find out what
no.
is jurisdiction, right? And nobody can answer it.
no.
Yet they just say they have it. Like the Justice Department says, "Oh, we're gonna get justice today." Yeah, they never get justice. And how do you know? Because they don't even know what justice is. You don't know what justice is. Frog doesn't know what justice is. No one knows what justice is. Why do we have a Justice Department?
You're misconstruing the overarching concept of justice in the mind of an individual, any individual, like all the individuals, like all 7 billion of us individuals. The misconstruing of the concept of justice in the head of a rando individual versus the legal construct called justice, and then
So you admit it's a construct.
called.
So you admit it's a construct.
Everything is a construct.
No, rights aren't constructs. Speech is not a construct.
Natural rights are not.
Religion is not a construct. People have a right to believe. See, you're talking about constructs and then trying to act like that's okay, like it's not fake, like it's not imaginary, like you didn't just imagine it out of thin air.
Are we getting
But
back
you
to
don't.
Amber?
You don't have an absolute right to free speech.
Yes,
No.
people do. People do.
No, you don't. No, you
Yeah,
don't.
they do.
No.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, you do if you live on a desert island, on your own desert island. You have an absolute right to your free speech.
No, people have a right to their free speech. There's nothing that anybody can do to people about it. All you can do is take away privileges, and that will happen. Monotone overthinks it here. He said at the beginning, before Frog even got on here, that when you exercise rights, there are consequences to those rights, and those consequences are a loss of privileges. But nobody can take your rights except you. And every time you bite your tongue in order to protect a privilege, you're taking away your free speech. Every time you put on a uniform to go exchange for money at a job, you're giving up your free speech. That's your choice. And you do it when you sell out. You do it when you go get a job. You do it in exchange for privileges, a house, a car, a wife, all kinds of things, right? And that's okay. But understand that people don't do that. Jesus Christ did not give up his right to free speech, but he got crucified. But he was secure. Just as it says in the Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure, he was secure in his beliefs. He did not give a fuck if they nailed him to a cross.
You know that
And I did not give a fuck when I went 34 days without food in an Alabama jail. Right? They can't make me care. They cannot make people give a fuck. I never said anything I didn't want to say, and I said everything I wanted to say.
Hey, Frog, do you think he knows that the Fourth Amendment has nothing to do with that?
Has nothing to do with what? That it doesn't say the right of the people to be secure?
When the Fourth Amendment was created, it was due to the
Does it or does it not say the right of the people to be secure?
Okay, yes, the words are there, but they don't.
The words are there.
They don't mean what you think they mean.
Oh, they don't mean what I think they mean.
You're putting way more
into
those words than is worth it.
Then it's worth it because you don't think it's worth it to be secure. I understand that, and that's why you keep going further to in your person, houses, papers, and effects.
You,
You care about privileges.
you're,
You
no,
don't give a damn
you are
about
correct,
rights.
because of course the amendments,
No shit,
those
I'm
rights
correct.
that were established, weren't established for all the people of the United States at
Yes,
the
they
time
were.
that they
Yes,
were
they
established.
were.
No, they
Yes,
weren't.
they were, Frog.
No,
I
they
knew you were
weren't.
going to go
Because
there. I knew you were going to go there.
you had lesser people.
I knew you were going to go there, but they didn't call slaves people. They called them persons. They called them other persons. Remember the word games? They don't call it kidnapping. They call it arrest. They don't call it an assault rifle. They call it a patrol rifle. They don't call it murder. They call it eliminating an enemy combatant. And they didn't call slaves people. They called them other persons. All other persons shall be counted as 3/5. And as I've already explained, persons are property as defined in the Fourth Amendment when it uses the word their, T-H-E-I-R. I know you might have to go back to third grade English to learn that T-H-E-I-R does in fact mean ownership, and the people own their person, their house, their papers, and their effect. Big
What about women
shocker,
then?
they
What
can
about
be sold.
women? What about
Were
women?
persons.
You said slaves. What about
Yes,
women?
slaves were called.
What
Slaves
about
were
women?
called.
What
Well,
about women? Were they property?
it doesn't talk about women in the Constitution.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
If you fast forward long enough in the Constitution, you'll see that we gave them the right to vote.
It's called the right to vote, but voting is not a right. It's a motherfucking privilege. You have to ask for it. You have to beg for it. You have to go and get an ID. You have to register to vote. You can be taken away for an infinite amount of reasons.
And so
It can.
2A rights.
It's not a right.
2A is
It's
not
not
a
a right. It's a privilege. You do not have to ask the government permission for a right. You do not have to register for free speech. You do not have to register for religion. Those are rights.
I have a question.
I bet you have a lot of questions. Go ahead.
So you're saying that you can't have a right taken from you.
Correct.
So
because they're not things. Rights are not things that can be grabbed.
They are inherent, unalienable.
They're self-evident. They're inside.
Rights that come from God to us.
You can believe they come from God, but the Constitution says the people secured them to themselves.
They're natural rights. Your right for being a human. However,
no, people. There's only one word for people. It's people. Not human.
We're not
natural man.
We're not humans.
People.
We're people. I'm a people.
People. You're not. You're a person. I can tell you don't give a damn about rights. You will say whatever in order to protect your privileges, and that's okay. You want the house, you want the car, you want the job, you want the girlfriend, you wanted the military salary. In fact, for a fact, you're a person. If you were in the military, you went through the UCMJ, you should know damn well that you were property of the United States government. You didn't have rights. You shit when they say, you talk when they say, you go where they tell you, and you fucking like it. You should know that you did not have rights.
All right.
You should know.
I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole.
Oh, that's a rabbit hole? The UCMJ? That's a rabbit hole? You want to pretend that you have rights as a military enlistee, or you weren't an officer? You don't want to be called an officer. I get that.
Can I just say before I go, because I'm going to drop out, because I'm sorry I don't know your name top right, but I think you're doing a damn fine job.
Monotones overthinks it.
Thank you.
One of your problems, bottom left, and your press NH. No,
I'm one of the people.
So,
what's your? Harder. I press on. I press harder.
Press harder. Right. Yeah. Now, one of your problems is you don't open your ears to listen to one another, what the other person says. You talk for far too long, and you're just trying to shut down someone else speaking, and you shut them down far too quickly, and you don't
So I
open
shut
your
them
ears
down.
and listen. Yeah, you do.
That you admit that
You-
I shut them down.
Yeah, you shut them down. You just try and talk over them.
I don't talk. I haven't talked over anybody.
I think you just say about. Sorry, I'm going to get. I've forgotten your name again. I do apologise for that. But top right, you know, he's only got to say about 5 words, and then you're back in. You're back in arguing with him. He can't complete his point.
Yeah, because his point disintegrates when we go to the beginning. He started talking about what the
Yeah, but I can
what the
argue
law
that about
is
you.
for and
If
what
I
the
start,
supposed to do. And then I went back to the beginning of establishing justice. I used the words that were in the Constitution, and none of you like it. You don't like it because you had to admit that the government has not established justice, that nobody can establish justice, that you don't know what it is, and nobody else knows what it is, and yet they're throwing millions and millions of citizens into cages around the world, and they're using justice as their fucking excuse for it, and it's bullshit. We got Brits like you still interfering over here that consider George Washington a
I'm not,
pirate. I mean,
I'm
get
not
the fuck out
interfering.
of
I'm
here, man.
not interfering.
No,
Go.
he's not.
Yeah, I am serious and shit. Britain still considers George Washington a fucking pirate, man. A pirate.
No.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about
You're
George
in a
Washington.
freaking alliance with them, you moron.
An alliance.
What do you call NATO?
Shit, I call it NATO is just a security apparatus or whatever.
First, okay, before, because I'm going to go too, because I just can't do this anymore because it's
That's not the frog. That's the government of Britain. Yeah, the government of Britain and the government of the United States. Yeah, they're both tyrants, and of course they're gonna back each other up and stuff. But that doesn't have anything to do with the rights of the people, right? The
But
frog
the government of the United States is
the frog
elected.
is trying to run interference for the government of the United States from a foreign country, and I find it highly offensive. I don't like it.
The government of the United States is elected by the people of the United States through the election process that you, the people, have set up. So how can you say that it's corrupt? I mean,
I don't believe that the people set up.
Do you want better that our alliances are approved by the Senate, which, they were elected by the people as well, meaning those alliances are approved by the people of America. So
They're approved by the citizens.
what?
we're going to play word salad then. Citizens,
You guys
people.
don't like words. The Constitution uses words, man. What words don't have definitions?
No, it's you who doesn't like the way those words are defined, and you don't understand
like
that they
the
can
way
be
they're
defined as A today and B tomorrow.
No,
Because
they're
that's what
they
words are. Their meaning changes over time.
No, they don't change over time. The two words are different. In the Constitution, it says the right of the people to be secure in their person. And in the 14th Amendment, it says citizens are persons. So, in order to be a citizen, you have to be a person.
Unreasonable.
And persons are property.
Oh my God, you're just missing the most important.
You guys are missing the point. These words are defined in the Constitution.
Seizure, unreasonable. You're just leaving that out. You're just like, forget about that point. The whole point of that entire amendment is unreasonable.
No, that's not the whole point. There's a lot of points in that. There's a lot of points in that amendment. Okay, you jump to that one word, unreasonable, and think that's all it's about. And that's it. No, it's not all it's about.
It's the whole reason for the Fourth Amendment is unreasonable search and seizure. It's because the British occupiers were unreasonable searches, and they were just stripping things from people who didn't have any liability. That's why it's there. It's to create a just and you're all about this whole justice thing. The Fourth Amendment is there to create a just justice system that works. And then yet you are attacking the Fourth Amendment. Stop it.
I'm not attacking the Fourth Amendment. I'm not attacking the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment is a whole paragraph. And you think that the only relevant word in it is reasonable? That's the only word that matters in that whole thing?
Super
No.
important term in legal context. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, if
There's
I was
a lot of relevant. There's
No,
a lot of relevant
if I was
text in
on the
that.
street and I had to actually, like, if I pulled a firearm and did a pew pew on somebody, they would ask me, "Did you read the in America
Spit it out, man. It's not yours.
the what's I'm trying to think of the official term, but basically the legal precedent or the legal standard is that if I had a reasonable fear for my life, that's the legal benchmark I have to get to in order to be okay and get off that charge. Reasonable is a serious word. It means if a whole bunch of people just like you looked at that situation and said, hey, yeah, that was a reasonable decision, then you're good to go. Reasonable is an actual legit legal term.
Yeah, it is. For persons. For persons. But it has nothing to do with people. People are not reasonable. People are peaceable. They don't have to be reasonable. No amount of reasons will justify one of the people breaching the peace. Okay? A police officer does not, no, citizens don't have to be peaceable. They just have to be reasonable. You can breach the peace if you have a justifiable reason for it. But people are peaceable. Like Jesus, like Martin Luther King, like Gandhi. They don't breach the peace for any reason. They have rights, and they only care about rights. But what they don't have are privileges. And if you want privileges, then you need to give up your rights. If you want rights, then you need to give up your privileges. And the Constitution lays out the two paths. The path of the high ground where the rights are on the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the first 8 words of the Fourth Amendment, or privileges, which is everything after the 10th word of the Fourth Amendment. When you go in your person, houses, papers, or effects, then everything is about being reasonable, being searched, being seized, being the accused. The 14th Amendment says no citizen shall be denied any privileges or immunities without due process of law. It doesn't say anything about rights or powers. It says privileges and immunities. But the people have rights, and they shall not be deprived. Not with due process, not ever. They shall not be deprived. And that's because they cannot be.
Yes, they can, but let Mr.
No, they can't. You cannot make me shut up right now. You can't fucking do it. You can't take my free speech and wear it around your neck, man. You can't do it.
It's a privilege to let the other guy talk. It's not about rights. It's just a privilege. Let Mr. Frog talk.
What?
I was going to say, if Josh is listening at the moment, Artie's in the basement, and I think would appreciate coming up. And the very fact that your First Amendment could be amended, and the right that you just spoke about as being unalienable and can't be changed, well, it could be changed.
That's a good question, Frog.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will be changed, but it could be changed.
Let me answer you, because I like that question, Frog. The First Amendment could be amended, right? And what that is the Constitution doesn't provide any rights to people. It only establishes that the government recognizes those rights. And so if the First Amendment was amended, then the government wouldn't acknowledge those rights, but the rights still exist. Okay, the people have the rights. And all
partially-
over the world, the people have the same rights. They
No,
can all say what they want, but the punishment might be different.
hang on.
Okay, and the punishment might be different. You might lose different privileges.
No, hold on. You're partially right. The Constitution.
No, I'm completely right.
It does not provide a single right. It enshrines rights.
Oh my God! Where did you get that word enshrine?
It's in the freaking Bill of Rights and the
No, it's not.
The Constitution enshrines your natural rights.
Where did you get that word enshrine?
Oh my God!
Where did you get that word?
I'm not doing this.
It establishes them.
It does not establish anything.
Yes, it does.
It does not.
Establish means to write. Establish.
Constitution does not
Establish.
provide you a single thing. It's not there to provide you anything.
It establishes. You don't know what establish means. Establish means to write it.
More quantum grammar, Frog.
It's what it means. It's fucking Latin, man. Establish means
I'm gonna drop anyway in the hope that Josh brings Artie up to take over.
The Constitution says to establish and ordain. Establish means to write, and ordain means to do it. And the people are established and ordained.
Fuck all with the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution enshrines your rights. You know it.
No, I don't know it. There's no shrine, man. There's no shrine.
Up in your own dark and remote location further.
No, there's no shrine. I don't know that. Where's the
shrine? It's the
what
term, word in shrine.
It's a term. Terms have meanings. They come from other words. You know what I mean?
Or quantum.
They have meaning. I don't know why you want to use every word but the words that are in the Constitution. You're literally telling me, Hitlerly telling me, that it doesn't establish when it says specifically that it does establish, and you're telling me that it enshrines when it never uses the word enshrined.
You see this stuff? I swore an oath.
You swore an oath. Whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo?
Yeah, whoop-de-doo. You don't know what it means.
Of my life down the tubes?
Your life down the tubes?
Because I
swore money. Because you wanted money.
What?
Yeah, money. You got a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't do it for free. You did it for money.
You want people to join the military for free?
I didn't ask anybody to join the military at all. I didn't say I want them to do it for free or I want them to do it for money. I didn't say I didn't want them to do it. I'm just saying that you did it for money.
No.
Yeah.
Not do it.
Didn't do it for free. Well, you wanted something that wasn't agreed to.
You think
the only thing that was agreed to give you was money. If you wanted something else, then you did it for something that wasn't agreed to.
I was trying to protect your dumbass. That's
my
what I was
dumbass?
Yeah.
How? I wasn't at risk.
Really?
You didn't protect me.
San Bernardino. ISIS attacked San Bernardino. You know what I was doing in 2016? Blowing up ISIS.
Well, do you know what the United States government was doing in 1984? Creating ISIS in Afghanistan to fight Russia.
In 1984?
Yeah, 1984.
You are so freaking screwed up.
Oh, am I? Is that not when Russia was in Afghanistan?
Russia was in Afghanistan, and you're talking about the completely stupid argument about what you wanted to say was Taliban, not ISIS.
Taliban turned into ISIS. It's just a rebranding. It's just a rebranding.
It's our enemies. You are so infinitely dumb.
Oh, so the United States didn't fund them in order to fight Russia and then later end up fighting them. Didn't happen.
We funded the Mujahideen.
Oh, the Mujahideen.
We funded a completely different group.
Completely different.
Who we did ally with when we went to Afghanistan back when I was involved in this whole thing. in the Kunar Valley, and we successfully destroyed the Taliban until they came back in 2021, thanks to I think
So you didn't destroy anything.
I think it's fair to assume we both agree on the current political system being not to our liking. But when that particular group came into power and we lost Afghanistan, but all of that aside,
We'll just put all that aside.
what I'm saying is that's not the point of why we're here. What
No,
I'm
because
what I want to tell you is that
I mean everything you've said doesn't pan out.
wrong on your retelling of history. 2, you have no idea about the Constitution. You probably, 3, have never read the Federalist Papers. 4, you probably don't have a very good grasp of the who, why, when, wheres of the entire foundation of our country. So we're going to say that you're not exactly a foundationalist. And then 3, you don't understand our current. Yes, you have a little trifold of the U.S. Constitution. Good for you. And that's good. I want you to read that. I want you to read more into it. I love that he's muted because it's just easier that way.
Oh, let's take it word for word since, I don't understand it. We the people. Those are the first 3 words. Do you see who's on top?
Yes, we the people.
Yeah, we the people are on top, right? We can agree?
Yes, because it's our government.
It's the people's government.
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't say our. It says we the people.
We the people. It's the people.
It doesn't say our.
For fuck's sake. Ours, yours, and mine, our. It's a word. Just keep
They're
going.
different words. Why do you have to use different words?
How else am I supposed to
use these words? These words aren't good enough for you? You have to change them all?
Let Artie up. Artie up.
So now you're going to run away. You can't get past the first 3 words.
You're like just arguing over stupid words. It's like, yes.
Now they're stupid words. So the words in the Constitution are stupid. You're saying I don't understand them, and now they're stupid.
They
didn't choose these words for a reason.
Our, yours, and mine.
Is that what it says?
Government.
Is that what it says? It says we the people. People.
People meaning you and me, which is our.
You don't know what those words mean. We've only gotten to the first 3 words. You don't know what word means in this document. You don't know what people means in this document.
Keep going.
I do agree that people, in everyday conversation has its own meaning and it changes over time. And this was written, almost 250 years ago. And yes, the word people has taken on a different meaning, but in this document, this document, it has a specific meaning.
Are you insinuating the word people as a new meaning or a older meaning? Like either a newer or an older meaning? Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, words change, like when we say others, like back then they said the others, right? They were talking about slaves. That was like a code word, slang, right?
Okay.
The others, they're talking about slaves.
Okay.
Right. But now, like, if we say that, we wouldn't know that we're talking about slaves. Like, oh, I was, others say this or others say that. We're not necessarily talking about slaves, right? But back then they were. But in this document, when they wrote the others, they were talking about slaves.
Where are the others in? Correct
me.
The
slave clause. The slave clause. That's where they are. It says all other persons shall be counted as 3/5. And in the 10th Amendment or the 9th Amendment, it says others retained by the people.
That is not part of the original 1783 Constitution.
What isn't part of it?
The 3/5 part.
Yes, it is. That's in the original Constitution. All other persons shall be counted as 3/5.
You might be right. I have to look into that. But the attributing that to the slavery thing came later. I mean,
No, that's slavery. All other persons shall be counted as 3/5, admitting that there is an other person. There is something that is not the same as just a person. There's other persons, right? And when the Fifth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property, right? Clearly, it wasn't talking about other persons. It was only talking about persons, not other person.
You're going back to the grammar part, and you're
Well,
going.
grammar matters. How do you think the government does this shit, man?
Look,
You think the government won't go and argue the meaning of a word? But you don't have time for it. It's just word salad.
no.
Yeah, that's what you say. It's just word salad.
I do have time for it, and I do know the government likes to argue the meaning of a word, and that's part of their job.
That's their job.
What I'm doing right now is actually I'm kind of gathering intelligence, and what I'm gathering from this is that I agree with how you see things. Like, I see how it is that you're seeing this. Okay, you're seeing some things in the history, and you're seeing some things in the present day, and
I'm reading this document, and I'm using the words that are in this document.
Try it, guys.
I'm not reading history books. I'm reading the Constitution of the United States.
That's not history. That's not history.
I didn't say it was history. No, it's not history. It's current. This is not a historical document. This is a living, breathing document. It still continues.
It exists, but it's not living and breathing. It can change, yes. So yes, as time goes on, it can be modified. So in a way, yes, it's living, but
it's not history.
It is. It's
not a historical document. No, it isn't.
Well, it happened a very long time ago, so I'll agree.
No, it didn't happen. It's happening. It's still happening.
Its creation happened.
It's still happening.
Okay. Look,
it hasn't been relegated to history yet.
I can see. Look. Let's concede this. Can we concede one thing to each other?
That you don't know shit? Yeah, we can answer that.
I know a lot more than shit, but let's concede this. I understand why you think the way you do. I do.
How do I think? How do I think?
That you're looking at certain wording and phrasing in the Constitution, and you're seeing analogs and connections to things in the present day, and you're like, oh, hey, this doesn't make sense, or this isn't correct. And I can see where that would come from. However, I disagree with some of those analogs and connections. But what I'm going to leave you with, because honestly, I can't keep doing this because it's not going to end well for any of us. Not you, not me, not BSBT or whoever is running this whole shenanigan, is that continue your exploration of the history, the facts, the Constitution. I applaud you for doing that. And I honestly think that, well, I'll stay here if Artie comes up, but
wait, before you leave. Okay. The Fourth Amendment, when it says the right of their people to, or the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects, does their THEIR mean ownership or not?
It means theirs. Like, yes.
Does it mean ownership? Does that word mean ownership? Yes or no?
Yes. Like, if
yes, it does. So the people own their person, house, papers, and effects, right?
Like, if the people wanted to come here and take, like,
read the fucking sentence. The right of the people to be secure in their
God.
Papers and effects. You've already said the word "there" means ownership.
Hello. Oh my God, I'm finally here. Hi.
Let the lawyer talk.
Holy hell.
So if it means ownership, do the people own their person, houses, papers, and effects?
They own it.
They own.
They own
They own themselves. Their personhood.
Use
Yes.
the words that are in the Constitution. The people.
They
own
they're
person,
persons
houses,
as in their individual personhood. Their individual personhood.
Hey, this guy already said you don't have a right to interpret it. Okay, use the words, because I'm not interpreting it. I'm using the words that are in here. Okay.
No. With all due respect, most people are not strict literalists when it comes to interpretation of the Constitution.
Nobody's interpreting it. Okay, these are the words.
Yes, they are. The Constitution is literally interpreted every single day.
It's
Yes.
a plain reading. Oh, so you don't think that
No, it's
people
not a
own
plain.
their house?
It's not.
So wait, do people own their house?
Persons, papers, and effects. Right.
Persons, houses, papers, and effects.
Right.
Persons own their house, right? It's a thing.
Maybe.
Okay.
Papers are a thing.
Yeah.
Effects are things.
What are effects? No, I don't know what
Like
that is. What does that
clothes.
mean?
Like clothes.
Oh, wait. Are you interpreting what the
It's an
word effects
example.
means?
No, it's an.
Are you
example of
interpreting
an
what the
effect.
word effects means? Are you
It's an
interpreting what the
example.
word effects means? Oh, so it sounds like you're
saying
giving me
it only
examples
means
of what you think effects means, right?
Well, it's an example, but regardless, you asked what effect was because you didn't know, and so I gave an example. but I'm
So
not
effects
limiting it.
can mean
No,
a
I'm not
lot of different
limiting
things, right?
It could, and I'm not limiting it. I gave an example.
Oh, so then you're making an interpretation of what constitutes an effect, right?
Well, I could argue that if I wanted to, but nevertheless.
So thank you very
So
much.
in
So
this
then we
sentence-
do
in this
interpret
sentence-
words in the Constitution,
In this sentence,
just like you are.
in this sentence, do you
Are you
notice
going to
persons,
concede that
houses,
you
papers-
just? Are you going to concede that you're interpreting part of the Fourth Amendment? Yes
I
or
never
no?
said I couldn't interpret it.
A lawyer.
I can interpret it. I'm one of the people.
Oh, no, oh,
He said that.
can we walk back about 2 minutes in the VOD for that?
No, I
can we
said-
walk back about 2 minutes ago where he said that you cannot interpret? There's no interpretation of the Constitution.
I said.
Pretty
he
sure you said that about 2 minutes ago.
I said that he said that.
I did not say that, Hardy. I did not say that.
You did say that though. You
No,
said
I
that
said
way
the
earlier in this
Supreme Court does
conversation.
it all the time.
You said the Supreme Court can interpret it, and I can't. I can interpret it, but
Judges
without-
all over the country interpret
you won't stay
it.
here. Stay with the sentence. The right
Okay,
of
sure.
the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers,
Okay.
and effects. Okay.
Okay.
So all those things are things, persons, houses, papers, and effects in this sentence. If you didn't know English, if you didn't know what these
I do
words
know
mean,
English. I don't know if you know what you think you're talking about though.
what
I'm very
saying
curious. Hold on.
Is that in
So
this
I
sentence, okay?
okay.
this
So
is the
let me
Fourth
ask
Amendment.
you. Right.
Right.
You say other
In this
persons.
sentence-
So hold on. You're interpreting other persons to mean other physical persons, correct? Somebody other than your own individual person. Right? Is
Well,
that how you're interpreting that?
If we're going to interpret person, then I would say that a person, like if we use it in a sentence and say, oh, you had a gun on your person, then your person would be your body.
Yeah.
And if I said that you were in your person, then that like to go apply in person, that means to go apply
Apply yourself.
They need your name, right? Your persona.
Yeah, physically there. Right.
It's
To
your
physically
persona.
appear.
No, it's your persona. A person.
No,
is a
I wouldn't call that in persona.
Yeah,
No.
a persona is a shell. A body is a shell, right? It's you're in it. It says the people are in their person, right? So clearly your body is a shell. What the people are inside their body, they're like the spirit, right? And the what's inside is what's important, right? Not what's on the outside.
Okay.
See, and what's on
So
the outside is the person, the house, the papers, and the effects.
So, well, hold on. I have to. So the person's that
You're
you said
getting
that
away
person's
from the
house's faces.
sentence, though.
No, I'm not. I'm getting. No, I'm not. Your interpretation is what? That the other securing their persons means, is it themselves or their own body, or are you interpreting other person in their persons to mean somebody else, somebody that they own, like a slave?
Well, no, not a slave, but a person is a body, or it's a persona, which is your name.
My name is not my persona.
It is your
A name is
one of them.
A name is a form of identification that was given to me by my parents.
That's an identity. An identity is a persona.
Yeah.
It
No.
wasn't given to you. It was offered, and you accepted it.
Earlier.
I was a goddamn infant. How did I accept my own name? I was a fucking infant.
Well, that we're getting away from the sentence. You know, the farther we get away from the sentence.
Okay, let's go back. All right, nice try, but let's go back. Let's go back here.
In the sentence, right? In the sentence, it's very important. We can see that people and person don't mean the same thing. Okay, you can't interchange words in this sentence, right?
People is plural of individuals, of human beings.
So why did they say we the people?
Can I talk? at all?
We the people?
Yeah,
Why
so
not?
If I say the sentence, okay, the people win again, is people plural or is it singular?
The people, as in
Or
the
how about- no, I just
communal,
say-
the communal representation of the community, as in the people versus the people versus Artie, is a term phrase saying that the government representing the citizens who voted on the government, they are represented by the prosecution, who is a representation of the people of the state of Florida, for example.
Yeah. No. The people is in legal and in the Constitution is the body of us, all of us. You are all of us, the chat, all of us, American citizens. We are the people.
Listen, let me say two sentences, okay? People win again and people wins again. Right? When I say people wins again, you see that people is singular. But when I say people win again, then people is plural. Because people is singular and plural. People are one, people are many.
What?
Right? It's not plural of person. Persons is plural of persons. Peoples is plural of people. We, the people, is plural. But people can be singular and plural. People cannot be divided. But what is for sure is that people are not citizens, and we know that because people
they are
in their person.
Oh,
right. And
are you saying that citizens? Are you saying that citizens can't be people?
Well, the 14th Amendment says that citizens are persons,
but they're not people.
Okay. So that citizens are persons. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And they're also one of the people. No. A citizen is one of the people.
No,
yes.
It doesn't say that.
Yes. Yes, it does. No, that's how it's interpreted. That's how it's interpreted. A citizen is one of the people. I am one of the people as a citizen.
No, you're not. That's ridiculous.
I am one of the people of the United States. Yes.
No, you're not. You're not.
What? Hold on. What body, what authority are you relying on with this interpretation?
Well, only you would know if you were one of the people. Only you would know if you had rights. Only you would know. You can't.
So you pulled it out of your ass.
But just knowing what kind, that you want privileges, I can see it, right?
I have both rights and privileges. I have both.
You can't have both. You can't have both.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Who are you to tell me that I can't have both?
Who is anybody to say that you can't serve two masters? I mean, that's what the Bible says. You can't serve two masters. You have to.
What are you even talking about there?
Mammon.
Wait, Artie, can you hear me? Am I muted?
Yeah. No, I can hear you.
You can't be righteous if you're privileged. You can go to church on Sunday, but if you get back to work the rest of the week, then you're not on the hill anymore, are you?
I'm confused. Do I not have
rights?
Because I have privileges, or because I have privileges, I don't have rights? I'm confused.
Yeah, you either have privileges or you have rights. You either serve God or serve him. You can't serve
I have both. I can do both, yes. Easily.
No, you can't have both.
I
Kanye West
can
thought he had those.
I can go to church every Sunday, and I can also pay my taxes. It's pretty easy.
Except that when you get off the hill, you go to church and you say, "Oh yeah, all this righteous stuff," but then you get back to business the rest of the week. You're not holding the ground.
Yeah, because you know I also live in the society that I'm residing in, and I have obligations.
Yeah, obligations, but people don't have obligations.
What?
Of course they do.
What?
No, they don't.
Of course they do.
Have obligations.
I'm sorry. Are you free to do whatever the hell you feel like in your day-to-day life?
Yeah.
So you can go out and shoot somebody
No,
without
people
any
are
sort of
peaceable.
consequence?
What the?
People are peaceable, man. People.
Can you rob a bank?
No, that's not peaceable.
Can you go into somebody else's house without permission?
Like knock on their door?
No, just not even knocking. Just go into somebody else's property and enter their door and hang out in their living room without permission.
No, man. Those are the 3 crimes: trespassing.
There's
Don't
only
trespass, don't steal, and don't hurt anybody.
There's only 3.
Okay.
Yeah, those.
And
are
what
the only
happens
3.
and what happens if you or somebody you know commits such an act? What happens to them?
Well, I don't know what happens to them. I mean,
You don't?
well, them.
There,
Like,
is there
I don't know if you're.
is there
talking
is there no existing institution that's supposed to rectify these supposed wrongs?
Well, I get your desire, right? It's a perfectly natural desire that you have to want justice or to want retribution or to want something to happen for it.
This whole thing started with justice.
It doesn't fix
It all
it.
started with justice.
It doesn't fix it, right? It
So
doesn't
what should
fix
happen
it.
to the what happens to the person? Well, okay, so you're saying it doesn't fix it, whatever this institution is supposed to do, but what is supposed to be the remedy? What is the remedy of somebody who is injured by somebody who trespasses or steals
Well,
or harms?
There is no remedy. There is
none.
remedy, but no, there isn't one.
So what is there to do to where does that victim get justice then?
They don't. They press on.
Wow.
They press harder. They press now. But you know, if you want to live in that system, you can. But you don't really get justice. You don't really get a remedy.
Yeah, I would prefer that somebody who trespasses against me or somebody I know or injures them. I would prefer that the person who commits that act has some level of consequence, some recompense. Because if not, they're going to continue to commit their immoral behavior, and it's going to be terrible for society, I think. But you seem to say, like, oh, we should just grin and bear it.
No, I don't say that you should grin and bear it. I say that people, they don't grin and they don't bear it, but they bear, but they don't grin, you know. But the people press on, they press harder, they press now, they move on, you know. They don't sit and dwell in the past, right? And you know, the only one that can hurt you is you.
So
Right.
so if you were to trespass, or maybe you were to trespass into my house without permission and hang out, eat my food, kind of break stuff in my house, you are saying that I should just let it happen?
No, I'm not saying what you should do, right? The people don't have any power over anybody else, but the people are sovereign over themselves.
No.
Right? They don't get to tell. I don't get to tell you how you should react. Right?
Wait, so should? Oh, wait. So
if one squirrel steals a nut from another squirrel, and the first squirrel catches the second squirrel in the act, he's probably going to chase after him and, you know, maybe beat that squirrel up. But if the squirrel gets away with the nut, the first squirrel is going to hunt him down.
We're not talking about a squirrel, though. We're not talking about another squirrel, though. We're talking about another living man, another one of the people who trespasses against me.
The
BSP
reason I used the squirrel as an example is because I'm talking about the laws of nature, right? Like the actual laws, like what's really going to happen, right? These
Okay, so
natural
then,
laws.
okay, so what if I believe in the law? What if in my laws of nature, if I feel that somebody has entered onto my property without my permission, do I have the right to shoot them?
I don't feel like you have that right
Why not?
to shoot them for that, but I mean, I don't think that you have that right, but
But why
Can I physically remove him from my property?
I just don't feel like you can.
Why?
So I should allow any random person to come onto my property without my permission.
I didn't say you should. I just said that I don't.
But you're telling me I can't do anything about it.
No, I'm not telling you can't. I'm saying I don't think that
No,
you can.
you
I don't
just
think you're able to, because I don't think that you're able to be sovereign over yourself. I think you care what others think.
Whoa!
You definitely
Whoa.
care what the court thinks. You definitely care if you're thrown in jail. You definitely care if they take your car. You definitely care,
Marty,
right?
you're
And
not
so
over yourself,
if you
but
didn't care about all those privileges and you just, wanted to stand on your rights and you're like, okay, I have a right to shoot them, and whatever happens, you're going to die on your cross and you're going to be secure, then fine. But generally speaking, it's pretty hard to be on the high ground when you're not on the high ground. And shooting somebody is never on the high ground.
Artie, he just said that you're not sovereign over yourself, but yet he is.
That's interesting. Interesting how he is able to delineate who is sovereign and who's not, and who gets rights
No,
and
I
who
don't
doesn't.
think you're
Very
sovereign.
curious.
I don't think
Very
you're
curious
sovereign
about that.
because I think that you're a
Interesting.
sheep. I think that you're a citizen that definitely
Well,
cares about what
I'm not the
others
one.
think.
I'm not the one who says I'm not allowed to be able to protect my property and protect my person if somebody trespasses against me.
I didn't say you weren't allowed. Oh, if somebody
You said that I
trespasses
shouldn't.
against you,
You're telling me I
I
shouldn't.
didn't say
You're
you
making
shouldn't.
you're making a moral prescription that I should not be allowed to take action against somebody who trespasses against me.
No, I didn't
You're
say
making a moral judgment.
I didn't say shouldn't. I said I don't think
You did
can.
say shouldn't.
Bro, you
I
said
said I
he's
don't think
not
you
sovereign over himself. You
I don't
said
think
it.
he is sovereign over
He doesn't have
himself.
sovereignty over himself.
I don't think he is sovereign over himself.
How?
Oh, I'm not.
I don't think you are. I think that others tell you what to do
Okay,
all the time.
let me ask you what would make what do I have to convey in order to be sovereign in your eyes?
What is the
Or what do I have to show or demonstrate?
Well, you'd have to not care what I think.
What?
And you clearly do care what others think.
What?
No,
See,
I'm not.
if you care what somebody else thinks, if you're trying to convey to me that you're sovereign, then you're not sovereign.
Sovereign?
No, I'm
Right?
only.
If you're
I'm
sovereign, then
simply
just be
asking you,
sovereign.
dude. It's not about whether I care or not about what you think. I'm curious about your beliefs and what you believe the state of society can and should be. I'm just simply curious. I'm not relying upon your opinion to dictate to my own moral philosophy. I don't know how you got that impression, but I don't. But that's not what I'm relying on. I'm just simply asking you very simple questions about what you feel, what the Constitution says, what it means, and how you view the world as it is in terms of its a people or person's relation to society. That's it. I'm not relying on you for any kind of moral judgments. Let's be clear about that.
Right. Well, you're getting confused because you're conflating words, right? And I use words very carefully. And you asked me first. You said, "Can you shoot somebody for trespassing on your property?" And I said, "I don't."
Right. I want to know what you think.
Let me finish. And I said, "I don't think you can." And then you immediately changed the word "can" into "shouldn't." And I didn't say that you shouldn't.
You shouldn't shoot anyone.
I didn't say that you shouldn't shoot anybody. I said that I don't think it's right to shoot anybody. I don't.
But then you're saying it, but you're making a moral prescription about that. You're saying I
Yeah,
can't.
But I'm not saying it should be your moral prescription. I'm just saying I don't think it's right. I don't think that you can do it, and that doesn't mean that nobody can do it. But I don't think that you have what it takes to shoot somebody for trespassing on your property, because I think that you would be
So you're making
consequences
a
of that.
character judgment about Artie that he
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah, right. I don't think that you're going to shoot somebody just for being on your property. I don't think that, man.
Oh
No, I didn't say I was, or I didn't say that was my moral beliefs. I'm asking whether or not I'm simply trying to get. I'm asking whether or I expanded it to saying whether or not I can do anything. Anything, not simply shoot, because I remember I asked you a follow-up question saying whether I can use any kind of physical force to remove somebody off my property who came onto it without permission. You saying that I couldn't do that either?
I said I don't think you can, because I don't think you have what it takes. But maybe
what is that? What is saying I don't think you have what it takes has anything to do with whether I should or shouldn't, or I can or can't.
If you don't have the balls to do it, then you can't do it.
So if I have the balls to do it, then I can?
Yeah.
So my rights to my sovereign rights to my property are dependent on whether or not I have the courage to carry it out?
Yes.
Yep.
That's right. Rights take courage, man. Now you're getting
it. He's admitting
rights
it.
take courage. You have to stand up on your high ground in order to
Holy balls.
That takes balls. But if you don't have the balls, then you're going to get off the hill.
I mean, so basically anybody who's disabled, any single pregnant mom who don't have the physical means of stopping somebody, they're basically screwed without any kind of remedy. Man, that's kind of cruel.
Now you're adding more onto this. Because I definitely never said that there was not going to be any consequences.
You literally said that you don't have in your world there wouldn't be any sort of institution for somebody to have any kind of justice or recompense.
No, I didn't say anything like what you're saying. Okay, if you have the balls to shoot somebody for being on your property, then you can do it. But what happens after that, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're going to get away with it, right? Well, there's lots of murders that somebody gets away with. I mean, if you're a cop, you're probably definitely going to get away with it.
Well, hold on. You're using a loaded term of murder. It would be homicide. Well, whether or not it's murder is dependent.
You can't just shoot.
It's homicide.
Property in any of the states.
Well, in a lot of states there's these things called the castle doctrine, and if somebody's trying to break into my house, in many states I do have the ability to use lethal force to defend myself.
Yeah, if they're in your house. Okay. So nevertheless, I never said that nothing's going to happen to you. No.
But apparently, according to you, okay, so then what? Okay, so wait, so societal pressure? So that's it? Societal pressure?
Societal pressure?
No, you're not letting me finish. You're not.
Okay, I'm sorry. Finish, please. Go ahead.
Others are going to judge you. There's going to be societal pressure in this system. Maybe you're going to go to court. Maybe you're going to be arrested. I don't know. Right? Murders, deaths, killings. They go unprosecuted a lot of times, right? Some of them are never solved. Okay, there's no rhyme or reason to who gets prosecuted. So I don't know what's going to happen to you if you do that, right? But
when I mentioned
right? And
what I brought up specifically was following up on your notion that I need to have the balls to pull the trigger in order to defend myself with lethal force. I then said, but you gave the impression that the only way somebody can, enact justice was to be able to have the balls to do it. And I basically said, well, if somebody who is disabled, or if it's a single mom who's pregnant, somebody who may not have the means to protect themselves against somebody who trespasses, for example, a burglar or somebody who breaks and enters a property. I was asking you, or I didn't ask you, but I'll ask you this: whether or not what happens when somebody does not have the means to defend themselves with lethal force, and somebody breaks into their property? Is there any sort of consequence to that? And all you gave me was societal pressure against whatever the suspect that was.
You might get arrested. You might go to jail. I don't know. A police officer might come in and shoot you. The neighbor might come over and shoot you. I don't know what's going to happen. But what is important in this discussion, that I'm trying to take this one step at a time, and you keep trying to jump way ahead to what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but when we're talking about whether you can or cannot do something, okay, it comes down to whether or not you can do it, whether or not you have the balls to pull the trigger or not to pull the trigger, right? Nobody can stop you from exercising your rights except for you. Right?
Well, according to you, I don't have rights.
I don't think you do. I don't think you care about it. I don't think you care about speech or religion or assembly. I think that you care about,
of course, I do,
and things that money buys.
Well, that's where
I mean, I care about rights. I do care about speech. I do care about assembly. I do care about free exercise. I do care about the Establishment Clause. I care about cruel and unusual punishment. I care about the Fourth Amendment. I do care about a lot of rights that we have that are expressed in the Constitution. So I don't appreciate you telling me what I do and do not care about.
I'm only saying I don't think you care about them.
Well, you're wrong.
Well,
only you would know. But I think that you care about money and what money buys, right?
Well, I do need to eat. I do need to have a roof over my head. So money is certainly a factor in my money is a factor in my day-to-day life. Yes.
Well, rights don't put a roof over your head, and they don't feed you.
Okay. So then I can't. Am I not allowed to be aware of both?
You're allowed to be aware of both, but you can't have both.
That's his whole thing.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
He went after me.
I can either have a roof over my head or my fundamental rights.
No, that's his whole shtick. He went after me he said I joined the military and swore an oath to God, military, and the Constitution, the whole other thing, because I wanted money, right? He said that's why
you wanted money.
I didn't want money, dude.
Oh, you didn't want money.
Have you ever served? Do you know how freaking annoying, hard, stupidly idiotic it is to serve? You know what it takes, what the training is like, where you have to live, having been deployed. So just combat zones, fine, 5 times. 5 times to combat zones.
Fighting for seas.
Fighting overseas. Yes.
Yeah, overseas. Seas are shipping lanes. You were fighting for shipping lanes.
No! What the
What do you mean no?
But do you think that's literally the only job? Wait, oh my God.
For privilege, man. It all comes down to privilege.
I was not.
My rights aren't in Afghanistan. Man. Yeah, for privileges.
What?
Yeah. My rights aren't in Afghanistan, man. How many free speeches did you recover?
Oh my God.
How many free religions did you bring back from your tours?
Unit destroyed ISIS fighters.
Destroyed ISIS.
Supplied
the same ISIS that's running Afghanistan right now. The same ISIS that was created by the U.S. government.
It was not.
Dude, all you did was go over and make a bunch of more enemies for us, man. Now we have a bunch of more enemies.
Okay. I really don't want to do this.
We have a bunch more enemies because everybody that you guys killed, now everybody in their family hates the United States.
Really?
No,
Yeah,
that's with the Kurds.
Really?
Yeah.
I was fighting with the Kurds. I supported
Whoever you
the
killed,
Kurds.
everybody the government kills, their family then hates the U.S. All you did was create more enemies. That's all you did, man. All you did.
Keep it going. Show how much of an idiot you are.
I'm just saying what it is, you know. It is what it is. You fought for privileges. I'm not criticizing privileges, but they aren't rights. You didn't fight for any rights. There was no free speech that you brought back here. Nobody's trying to take our free speech. The only one that can take it is you. You can take your own free speech. You can bite your tongue. You know, you can wear what somebody else tells you to wear, or you don't, and you don't get the job. If you go in and you apply for a job, then they tell you what to do, and you're not the boss anymore. If you want freedom,
Okay.
you know what? When
Oh
somebody,
my God.
you know what somebody's never said when they go to work?
Artie.
I'm free, freedom.
Wait.
No,
so is that why you're unemployed?
Right?
This is something new.
Yeah. People,
So wait, press harder. Do you have a job?
Hell no, dude.
That's okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
So you're a freeloader.
So you're telling me I spent 23 years.
You're free. So wait. So what do you do to get your next meal?
I find my own food.
Dumpster diving?
Yeah. That's my question.
Yeah, but I'm not taking anything, and I'm not stealing, and I'm not asking for anything. I find it. I put one foot in front of the other and go find it.
Hey, you know what? More power to you. Have that absolute freedom.
Yeah, but freedom doesn't put a roof over your head, right? I'm not recommending anybody else do it, but what I'm saying is there is a difference. Okay, you can't have both, right? I can say anything I want.
Yeah, see, the problem is, I'm sorry, but you can have both. I still have my freedom of speech, while living in a house with central air and electricity,
no, it's just an illusion.
and a kitty cat. So I have a lot of things. I have a lot of the privileges of living in modern society, while retaining a lot of the fundamental rights that are granted to me under the Constitution.
It's an illusion.
I don't know where you get this idea. I don't know where you get this idea that it's either or, that you have to be dumpster diving day in, day out, and sleeping outside on concrete is the only way of retaining your fundamental rights. I don't know where you get this idea.
Well, the Bible talks about it. You can't serve two masters. You can serve God or mammon, right? Was Jesus poor?
I'm sure he was.
Were his clothes dirty, or did he live in a house with air conditioning?
Are you literally saying that in order to be pious, I have to be living outside?
No, I'm not saying that. If somebody offered me, I mean, I'm not outside right now. I'm inside. You know, I'm living in my body, right? You know, you think,
but you're telling me that you're telling me that I have to live day to day fending for scraps in order to remain pious.
Did you say begging?
Scraping for scraps. Scraping, dumpster diving, looking at trash cans for food.
I'm not saying that you have to do anything. What I'm saying is that if you exercise your right,
you're telling me that I'm not. You're telling me I have to serve two masters, and one of those means that I cannot have a roof over my head.
No, I didn't say you can't. What I'm saying is that if you exercise your rights, you're going to lose your privileges. Okay, they are going to get taken away. If you go out and protest all the time like I do, you're not going to have that house. It's going to get taken from you. If you want the house, then you need to toe the line.
Let's use his game. Let's define protest. He wants to define privilege. Let's define protest.
Well, if you want to go out and use your free speech, if you want to,
My free speech? Don't you mean our? That word?
no, I don't mean our free speech.
Yeah, what do you? Yeah, no. Let's not. No. Please, can you ask that? Can you answer that question? What do you mean by protest? What do you do by protesting?
Well, I misspoke when I say protest. I really don't like to. I think that citizens protest. I erred when I said that. People speech it up, right? But
speech it. What does that mean? Like, can you explain to me what do you do in your day to day when you're not looking for food?
I mean, I just find food. I don't really go looking for food. I just find it, right?
Okay, so when you outside of when you find food, okay, outside of finding food, what do you do in your typical day to day? That is,
I'm at Starbucks, man.
So Jesus told you that it's good to go drink a $5 cup of coffee?
Well, essentially, yes, because I don't find coffee. The world makes sure I have coffee. They want me to have coffee. And in 6 years since I've been walking, I haven't gone one day without coffee. And it's not because I find it.
Man, that sounds like a privilege to me.
Well, it's not because I don't ask for it, right? I don't feel like I have it. It's just that everywhere I go, somebody walks up to me and hands me a Starbucks gift card. It's not my fault. I don't ask for it. But yes, essentially Jesus.
Man, that sounds like a very privileged life to be handed free Starbucks gift cards every day.
Yeah.
I didn't say every day. But everywhere I go, like I'm at Starbucks every day, all day. Okay, every single day. And the thing is, it's not because I'm out asking for it, right? It's Starbucks wants me here, right? And not just this Starbucks, but every Starbucks. I've gone from Starbucks to Starbucks for 6 years.
Starbucks
getting gift cards.
Wherever I go, like somebody walks up to me and hands me a Starbucks gift card. One time I was walking out in the
must be nice
with no bottoms on my shoes, and it was 100 degrees out, and this guy stops 12 miles from anything, and he says, "You look like you need a cup of coffee," and he hands me a cup of coffee. The world thinks I need coffee, right? I don't argue with the world, but you say that must be nice, but the world doesn't think I need a house. The world didn't think I needed shoes. You see,
well,
without that,
if you had gainful employment and being a productive member of society, you might be able to get those shoes.
That's right. And see, I'm not complaining about it because I know that if you want rights, then privileges are going to get taken away. I don't want the privileges. They're not. I want freedom.
That's fair.
Absolute freedom. But I'm not recommending it for anybody else, right? But when I have these conversations, we're talking about the words people versus person, and the Constitution does establish that there are two paths.
Grammar.
People are on top with the rights, and persons are on the bottom with the privileges. In whichever
is it a privilege to be counted? Is it a privilege to be counted in the apportionment of House of Representatives? That's
a privilege. Yeah, because listen, I'll tell you why it's a privilege. You don't have a right to have a government. Okay,
do I have a right to vote?
Is a privilege.
We don't have a right.
Do I have the right to vote?
No, it's a privilege. You have to ask the government for permission to vote.
The right to vote has always been considered a right.
No, it's called a right.
It's always been defined.
Right.
It's always been defined as a right.
Yes,
it is a right.
No, it's a
Well, so the Voting Rights Act is a misnomer?
Yeah, because you have to ask for it.
Artie,
Well,
apparently,
do you have to ask for it or not?
our system is built on privilege.
Do you have to ask for it or not? Do you have to register to vote?
That's for party.
Yes or no? Do you have to
affiliation.
register to vote?
Wait, does the fact of having to register for something means it's not a right?
Yes, it does. Pennsylvania
According to
versus
who?
Mims. Pennsylvania versus Mims says that nobody can, the state cannot require a registration for a right.
Penn v. Mims. I think you're thinking of the wrong. Yeah, you're thinking of the wrong case, man. Penn v. Mims is the Supreme Court case that says that a police officer can require you to get out of a vehicle at a traffic stop.
You're right. You're right.
Genius.
Right. Yeah, you're right. But it's a Pennsylvania case. I'm blanking on what it is, but
no, but that case had to deal with solicitation.
Yeah, you know which case I'm talking about. A right cannot be converted into a privilege requiring a registration. You know,
oh my God,
driving is a privilege. Okay, and it requires a license.
You're absolutely right. Driving is okay. That's where we finally agree. Driving is in fact a privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. Driving is a privilege, and so you understand the difference now between privilege and rights. Rights, if driving was a right, you wouldn't have to get a license. And that's the argument. Is somebody that's
you're right, but I don't have to get a license to vote.
Yes, you do. You have to get a registration.
No, I don't. No, that's not a license.
It's the same effect.
No, they just want to know who.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's the same effect because they can deny it for any reason they want except for 7. There's only 7 reasons.
No, they can't.
They can't.
Yes,
they can. Yes,
they cannot deny your registration to vote for any reason. What are you talking about?
You don't know what you're talking about. There's only 7
You don't know. You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm going to explain this real quick. There's 3 amendments that deal with the supposed right to vote. And those 3 amendments define 7 reasons that you cannot be deprived of it. You cannot be deprived of your right to vote for your sex, for your religion, for your national origin, for your race, right? Those are the only reasons. There's more. I said there's 7 reasons. I didn't name all 7 reasons, but there's only 7 reasons that they cannot deny you from voting. There's only 7 reasons. They can deny you the right to vote for your signature not matching. They can deny you the right to vote for not showing up at the right poll station. They can deny you the right to vote for being a felon, for not being over a certain age. They can deny your right to vote for all kinds of reasons. So clearly it's
almost as if rights are not absolute.
No, rights are absolute.
Like it's almost as if
no, they're not.
If they are. Felon can't buy a gun.
No, they're not.
They're
not absolute.
Okay. Let me. Can I ask you to test that theory? If you could do me a favor, if you could get a bullhorn, go to the outside area of an elementary school when it's in session, and go scream as many profanities as you can, and let me know if you still have the right to free speech.
Yep.
Yeah, you're just not getting what a right is, you know? Like I said, if you have the balls to do it, first of all, what you just said is not even a crime.
You don't well, the thing is, I don't think you have the balls to do it.
Wait, what was it? Get a bullhorn.
Get a bullhorn, and when school is in session, at an elementary school is in session, where they're all at recess, use that bullhorn and go scream as many obscenities as you possibly can. And then let me know if you still have the right to free speech.
That's case law, bud. Deal with it.
I'll definitely have a right to free speech.
No.
I mean, first of all, you even have a privilege to do that, man.
No.
Anybody can do what you just said. Any citizen can do that.
They can.
People
do
can,
it.
of course, do that, but even citizens
They'll
can
be
do
in
that.
Jail.
I mean, that I don't know what you're talking about. Like that, like you.
I
said
know you
that,
don't.
like you said that. Like that.
I know you don't know. I know you don't know. I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's okay.
We all know you don't.
I mean, unless you're insinuating that the police are going to kidnap somebody for doing that.
Kidnap. There it is. There it is again. The same.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're insinuating, right?
No, it's called being arrested. It's not.
You probably won't get kidnapped, but you'll be cited for disorderly conduct more than likely.
Oh, even though that's not disorderly conduct?
It's not.
It
No,
would
it's
be
not.
disorderly conduct if you're screaming obscenities in front of children at recess in an elementary school. That you can be cited for disorderly conduct.
Where do you get these ideas, Nancy? It's that nonsense that you don't. That's free speech, man.
Artie, have you looked at Whitney versus California?
Disorderly conduct requires like
I haven't.
fighting words.
Whitney versus California.
You know, a reasonable person has to in order for like speech to be disorderly conduct, then a reasonable person would be likely to breach the peace immediately when hearing those words.
There he goes with reasonable.
Right. That's the.
Wait. Hold on. Whoa. Time out. I'm sorry. No. Wait. You're saying fighting. Hold on a second. I think what you just said, fighting words, that sounds like a limitation on your free speech.
No, that's a limitation on persons' free speech. Like I said,
I love it.
Right.
I love the way he weasels out of it. He weasels out of it so much. It's great.
No, because I
Oh man.
even citizens have a privilege to do what you just described. I said, people, of course, have a right to do that. Okay, if I went and did that, like I don't know what's going to happen, right? But nothing's going to happen to me. Right, people are what's on the inside.
Nothing's gonna happen to you. Awesome.
No,
I would love for you. Hey, I would love for you to test that theory. Please go to the nearest bar near you. Go find the drunkest, biggest dude out there and speak some fighting words at him. And I'm kind of curious what's gonna happen there.
Oh,
see what happens.
I would never speak fighting words.
Oh, that's right, because you're a pious individual who lives off the land and Starbucks gift cards.
People are peaceable. I would never try and fight somebody or challenge them to fight. That's like ridiculous. Why would I do that?
Guy who's like, I'm a man of the land. I'm a person of the land.
I'm one of the people, man. Why do you hate people so much?
You're a people?
I'm a people.
He's a people.
He's a people.
Yeah, he's a people.
Yeah. Why do you hate people?
I don't. Well, I do kind of, sort of, a little bit hate all people. That's
you hate people. You like persons.
Well,
like
sometimes we can have misanthropic ideas, you know.
Freedom scares you. Freedom is very scary, especially words.
Freedom scares me?
Yeah. That's why you went and signed up for the military. There's no freedom in the military, man. You were property of the United States government. Oh. You understand that you were not free, right?
Oh, okay. That's why
I mean, you do understand that, right? That there are human beings that are not free?
Yeah, I know.
According to you, about 99 or maybe 95 to 99% of the population in this country are not free.
Right. Just like, any herd of sheep, right? Most everybody likes the group, the herd. There's nothing wrong with that. The group provides safety. It also has rules that go along with it. But the shepherd is up on the hill. And there's only one shepherd on the hill. There's not a group of shepherds on the hill. It's one shepherd, because you can't have a group of shepherds. They're not going to stay together. They do what they want. They don't compromise. They don't bend.
Listen to me.
Listen.
My group of shepherds, we stuck together. That,
What?
my group of shepherds, we stuck together. We stuck together. Well, we defended your freedom for over 20 years.
You didn't defend my freedom.
Oh, no?
I defend my freedom.
What's
Only
in your
me.
hand right now? What's in your hand right now?
Only I
what's in his
defend my
hand?
freedom.
Well, what's in his hand right now is a privilege. I would say.
Oh, the phone? Yeah, it's a privilege, but I don't have it.
It's a privilege.
you're in physical possession of it. You're in physical possession of a privilege. You are literally
think
talking
you've
to
got
us
me.
on the internet. You are
guys
literally talking to us on the internet with a phone that is capable of
did?
doing a live stream.
No, you guys think you got me, but
Without
you
my
don't
brothers and
you don't
sisters,
understand.
you wouldn't have any of that.
Okay, now you know what? Now I realize why he's in every other Starbucks. He's there for the free Wi-Fi. That explains a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
So he's leeching off of the benefits of others, off the good graces of others.
The privilege. Of
That's
others.
leeching.
He's leeching off of the privilege.
That's leeching.
Yeah,
That's leeching.
yeah.
Wait, are
Is it not?
leeches invited?
Am I wrong here?
Are leeches
Are
what?
leeches invited? Like if you like went into a swamp and you're like, here, leechy, come suck on my blood, right? Would that be? I mean, when we say like,
I'm sorry. Are you there indefinitely, or are they going to kick you out at closing time?
Well, outside, yeah, they just closed. I'm outside now.
That's what I thought.
But it's not.
All right, man.
You guys,
All right,
you guys
listen,
don't.
before
You're so
before you
stuck in
use
your privilege,
Wi-Fi,
man.
beard
You're so stuck
guy,
in your privilege.
No.
You see,
Let me give you a
people,
privilege.
I don't believe in ownership, right? Back to the phone in my hand thing. I don't believe that I own it. Okay, if somebody comes and takes this phone out of my hand right now, you know how many fucks I'm going to give? 0 fucks, right? I'm not going to care because I don't feel like I own it, right? I don't feel like anybody owns anything. I do grasp that others believe they own things, but they don't. Right? Everybody in Hawaii thought that they owned their house too, but a fire just went and proved to them that they don't own shit.
All right.
Okay, the
Wow.
law of nature
Pause.
took over. Right?
Pause.
In Beijing, they thought that they owned property too, but they don't because a typhoon came and took it.
I thought a fire took it.
A fire took it from Hawaii. I said in Beijing, a flood just took it. See, you don't listen. You listen to like every fourth word. Beijing, they just had a typhoon.
So you say so nobody owns anything.
Which is
No, I don't believe they do.
inland.
I
Gotcha.
don't believe that ownership is
So you don't believe in property rights? Interesting.
This is
I
all.
don't believe in them for me, but I want to be clear that I do realize that there's 2 paths. Okay, there's the path of righteousness, right, where you can believe that ownership doesn't exist, but there's also the path of privilege where you can believe that you own stuff, right? And I'm not going to go and take something from somebody, right? Even though I don't really believe that they own it.
So in the world
I believe that they believe they own it, right?
So in the world of privilege, property rights do exist.
Yes.
The world of privilege does exist. It's a construct. It exists in your mind. I don't believe that you actually do own anything. Like, I don't believe that there actually is justice or you know.
You attack me
But
on drugs
in your
for-
mind, right? Like I don't believe there actually are laws. I don't believe that
there are not laws. You don't believe there are laws.
Oh my god. I don't know
I don't
about you
believe
guys,
that-
but
like
this
when we're talking
this-
about the government writing laws, no, I don't believe they're really laws. Like there's actual laws, but I don't know what they are. You know, there's laws of nature, right? But they're actual laws.
You are talking
right?
to
Like a typhoon coming through, like that's the
quote
actual
unquote
law.
unarmed combatant.
this
No,
like
the-
this guy
the
reminds
typhoon-
me of that
the typhoon, the
Futurama
fire.
skit.
Those are actual laws, right? You know,
Yeah, he
the fire just burns your house down. Okay, it's gone.
So it reminds me of that bit in Futurama where the guy's like, "You can't own property, man," and then Farnsworth is like, "Well, I can. That's because I'm not a penniless hippie." I mean, that's kind of what this reminds me
Right.
of. But
Right.
it's been
Right.
fun.
Right.
It's been wild. We have to do this again. I was actually here for
I don't think we
BSBT,
have
but
to
apparently
do
he's
this
having
again.
he was here. Apparently he's having technical issues.
I don't think we have to
Just
do
wanna
this
play with
again.
But I gotta go. It's been fun. We gotta do this again. I would love to hear more about your freedom philosophy of non-ownership and dumpster diving as being the true measure of a pious man. But hey,
I didn't say
it's
any
been
of
real.
that. I didn't say any of
I'm
that.
sure. I don't know where you live, but I'm sure you could find a Wawa or another 24-hour store out there to get yourself some Wi-Fi. All right. Take
I still
care.
have Wi-Fi. Yeah, I didn't say any of that. Yeah. I don't know if BSBT is coming back or what. I don't even know if he's still in the. Oh, yeah. You back? Hello? Are you there?
All right. Is it really just me up here now? Did we lose all our other guests? I don't know. I tried doing my best with what I had as far as the technology. I will go get my other phone, and we will have another live stream shortly. So, anyways, anybody who can hear me, we'll see you on the next live stream. I'm going to replay this one since I didn't quite catch everything that was going on. And then hopefully I can join the discussion so we don't have as big of a dog pile and so many brain dead people on the panel next time. So, but anyways, Artie, if you're still restreaming this, you got me blocked on your channel, so I can't comment over there. But appreciate you coming up. You seem kind of like you were a little bit sauced a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe it was just me. But anyways, I love you all for the support. Thank you. I'm ending the live stream. I'll pick one back up maybe tomorrow, but soon we'll have something to talk about. All right, guys. See you on the next one.